I'm trying to platinum and 100% as many games as I can. After completing the entire Far Cry franchise, I've been looking for a new series to start. So in this video, I decided to begin my journey to getting the platinum and 100% in all of the Batman Arkham games. Normally, I would play the series in release order, however the Arkham games clearly have a black sheep of the lot, and it also happens to be a prequel story to the main Arkham trilogy. So it made sense to start with this game, which is of course Batman Arkham Origins. It released on the 25th of October 2013 on PS3, Xbox 360, PC, and the Wii U. Unlike the rest of the Arkham games, this was not developed by Rocksteady Studios, but was instead made by WB Games Montreal, which is why it's the black sheep of the franchise. It also has not had an updated version of it made yet, unlike the other games. The trilogy games are all available to play on PS5, but Origins is still only on PS3, and unfortunately I don't have a PS3 and it's not backwards compatible on PS5, so I guess we'll just have to move on. Just kidding, I didn't clickbait you with the title. Instead, I decided that I could play Origins and its DLC on PC instead. Originally, I was thinking Xbox because of backwards compatibility reasons, but I don't think you can buy the DLC for some reason anymore on there. So instead, I bought the game on Steam during the Penguin TV show sale, which yes, was about a year and a half ago now, and by the way, that show is goated. You should definitely watch it if you haven't already. But there was, however, another issue with Origins. This game has an online mode with achievements tied to it. And as I'm sure many of you know, the servers for this game shut down 10 years ago. So those achievements are no longer obtainable through the base game. I do know there are community mods out there that still allow you to play online, but I decided that if the official servers weren't online, then I wasn't gonna attempt those achievements at all. And they also looked really hard to do. So please don't hate me too much for not doing the online. Anyway, I decided that the next best thing would be to just go for the rest of the achievements that were obtainable through the offline modes and say I had 100%ed all of the offline stuff. Now on PlayStation, there are 63 trophies to get for this game, however on Steam there is actually only 60 achievements to collect. This is because there is no Platinum, and for some reason the PC version never got the 2 Initiation DLC trophies. You can still get the Initiation DLC on PC, but just no achievements are tied to it for some reason, even though the second DLC pack, Cold Heart, did get achievements. Anyway, out of the 60 achievements, 50 of those are related to the base game, and out of those 50, 11 are tied to the online, meaning we can no longer get them, so that brings the base game total to 39 achievements. However, we then add in the 10 achievements tied to the Cold Heart DLC, and this brings our new 100% total to 49 achievements. Now, the DLC is fairly easy according to PSN profiles at a 2 out of 10 difficulty, only takes 1 playthrough, and is about 4 hours. However, the base game is a lot harder. It's a 6 out of 10 difficulty, takes 3 playthroughs, and is around 40 hours. But really, I feel like this should be a lot higher as it actually took me double the time. This is because we have to find all 200 Enigma data packs, get all 288 medals in the challenge mode across 4 different mode types, and finally, I had to beat the game normally, beat the game on New Game Plus, and also beat the game on the I Am the Knight mode, which is hardcore, meaning if I died, I would have to restart right back at the very beginning of the game. Bruh, why? Oh my god. This game sucks, bruh. This game sucks, man. Oh my god, I have to restart again. So, with all that being said, make sure you hit that subscribe button, especially if you are excited for the upcoming Arkham series to stay up to date with all my new videos, and whilst you're down there, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know that you like the content I'm making. Thank you all for your support as always. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the achievement journey for Batman Arkham Origins. To begin, we of course must start up a new game. I chose to play on normal as this is the minimum difficulty you must play on to unlock the New Game Plus mode. I did cop out of the hard difficulty, but because it's not a requirement and I've never played an Arkham game before, I wanted to give myself a somewhat easy time learning the game. Anyway, once we've started up the game, we get an intro cinematic setting up the context of the game. This game takes place about 8 years before Arkham Asylum on Christmas Eve in Gotham City. Batman is only in his second year of being a vigilante and is still inexperienced. He is a mysterious force with even the police not knowing whether he is real or just a myth. We of course are introduced to the Batcave and Alfred as we find out there has been a breakout at Blackgate Prison led by Black Mask, and the police commissioner Loeb is being held captive. And can I just say, this whole intro is straight aura. Oh my god, Batman Arkham Origins.
You do realize it is Christmas Eve, sir?
Damn, Batman don't care. Oh my god, here we go. Oh my god, this is straight peak, bro. After that absolute peak, we arrive at Blackgate Prison, and this is the sort of tutorial area of the game. Near the beginning, we find Warden Joseph and save him from a mobster who tells us to head further into the prison to find Black Mask and Loeb. Shortly after that, we have our first ever fight, and I got a taste of the Arkham combat. Oh my god, okay. Oh my god, the combat is so sick. After defeating all the enemies, we get the option to interrogate the last one, and he tells us Black Mask is heading to the execution chamber with Loeb. In the next room, we find a drone flying around that doesn't belong here, but we can't find out any more about it before it flies off. Continuing on, we get our first look at the villain who has been causing all the damage here at Blackgate, which is of course Killer Croc. And in the same area, we also learn about the infamous Arkham beatdown.
Knocking him off balance with my cape will expose him to my attacks.
Oh, okay.
Don't hurt me!
I honestly don't know how the criminals survive this. You'd have to at least get brain trauma from these hits. Batman doesn't kill, but he will make you crippled for life. Anyway, after that we get a taste of some of our gadgets, including the grapple gun, detective vision, batarangs, and of course, explosive gel. We then catch a glimpse of Killer Croc again, this time with Black Mask and Loeb, who says it's time for some changes as Loeb is corrupt and getting paid off by Black Mask, yet Black Mask's men are still ending up in the slammer. So we pursue after them, but are slowed down by some of his men, but we eventually do make it to the execution chamber viewing room. Here we see Calendar Man was set to be executed, but Black Mask releases him and instead he throws Loeb in and sets off the gas chamber, killing the police commissioner. We can break through the glass after they have all left, but of course it is too late to save Loeb. So we once again pursue after them, where we find the drone from before, but it has been destroyed by Killer Croc. We can take its memory card to analyze later though. We then climb up towards the roof, where we find Black Mask escaping on a helicopter. However, Killer Croc stays behind, having caught our scent, and thus begins our first boss fight of the game. Honestly though, this boss fight is quite easy. We just have to evade Croc's attacks and then beat him down. He then jumps away and grabs a fuel tank, and using our quick fire batarangs, we are able to destroy them, dealing damage to Croc. We repeat this 3 times whilst fighting some goons, and Killer Croc goes down after the 3rd explosion. We then get absolute cinema.
Boss, where's he going? No, only boss of me is me. You want teeth? I want answers. Wait till Black Mask's assassins get through with you. What assassin? Whoever wins is gonna be famous and rich. At least we know he won't be ugly. Freeze! Hold it right there!
I'm taking you in.
No, you're not.
Not tonight.
No such thing as a Batman,
No such thing as a Batman, eh? Following on from that, we return to the Batcave. Here we get our first look at the skill tree and we can make our first upgrade. We then use the Bat computer to analyze the memory card from the drone, where we find out that Killer Croc was one of 8 assassins that Black Mask has invited to kill Batman tonight to get a $50 million bounty. The other assassins include Deathstroke, Firefly, Copperhead, Deadshot, Electrocutioner, Shiva, and Bane. So our main goal becomes stopping Black Mask, and our first lead is whoever was piloting this drone. This is also where we receive our first achievement of the game.
Sir, I may be stating the obvious here,
yeah.
but you do
Achievement
realize that
unlocked.
since you and I are the only people who know the Batman's
City of
true
Assassins,
identity,
identify
those
Black
assassins
Mask's
will all fail their
assassins.
mandate
Let's
if
go.
you...
Batman believes that the Penguin is the one who owned the drone. Its next waypoint was to rendezvous with some of his men at Jezebel Plaza, so that's where we are headed. Before heading off in the Batwing, I made sure to talk with Alfred first, as there is a missable trophy related to hearing all of Alfred's conversations. You can tell it's a conversation as the camera angle changes, and afterwards you get Alfred Wisdom XP. So it was important that after most main missions in the game, I came back to speak with Alfred each time to ensure I never missed a conversation. In the Batcave, I also unlocked access to the training area where I could take on the challenge mode, but I was going to save all this for later as I hadn't unlocked all the maps yet. Instead, using the Batwing, I got introduced to my first fast travel drop point in the open world. However, on the way there, the control tower in the area is putting out a jamming signal, preventing us from fast traveling. So we head to the tower to investigate. Inside, we find some mobsters terrorizing the workers, and this is technically our first Predator encounter as we learn how to silently take down enemies using the environment to our advantage. Doing this completes our first Dark Knight challenge in the Worst Nightmare track, and I was going to have to complete all of these for some achievements. Further into the tower, we encounter our first case file investigation, where we get our detective on as we use our detective vision to figure out why one of the workers got killed from an explosion trying to access the tower's main console. We find the victim's access card, and using its security codes, we can then use our cryptographic sequencer to hack into the panel. This completes the first challenge of the world's greatest detective track. In the next room, we find the main console, but trying to hack into it, we are met with Enigma instead. He tells us that he has hacked into all of the control towers across the city, and whilst they're active, we can't use the drop points. However, we can hack into them to disable them, which is what we do for this first one. This unlocks the drop point and reveals the locations of all network relays in the area too. Enigma's HQ is also revealed on our map. In order to reveal the locations of all Enigma data packs, I would have to destroy all of the network relays in each area. Exiting the tower, we then get our first look at Gotham City in all its glory. This of course means we can now start exploring the open world. And so I began taking out the network relays in Coventry. Whilst doing this, I also completed the first rank of the Shadow Vigilante track, fighting a random group of enemies. Not long after that, I also completed the second rank too. Eventually, I then destroyed the 10th and final network relay of the area, which unlocked me my next achievement. Oh, 10 out of 10! Oh my god, we got an achievement. Shut down. Shut down an entire tower network. Let's go. Second achievement already? After that, I then made my way to Enigma's HQ, which was marked with a big question mark on its door, making me wonder who Enigma might become. Inside, Enigma is unfortunately not here, but he does speak to us over the radio and explains that he has data handlers everywhere feeding him information. With this information, he plans to release it to the public, and this includes incriminating photos, videos, and emails, which will cause the city to collapse from resignations, arrests, and deaths, causing chaos in the streets. We then arrive at his main computer, but it's protected by 10,000 volts of electricity. So the only way to stop him is by destroying all his network relays across the city to access his server. We can also now track down his data handlers, and interrogating them will reveal where the Enigma data packs are in each area. So I headed outside, and sure enough, there was a data handler right outside his HQ, and upon interrogating him, he revealed the location of all 10 extortion file 18 data packs. Shortly after that, I also completed the third rank of the Shadow Vigilante track. I then also completed the first rank of the Gotham Protector track. I then took out some more data handlers before eventually I collected my first data pack, and these usually require solving some sort of puzzle before being able to access them. For example, here I had to break through this wall and glide over to collect it. But then some of them are also just as simple as collecting them off the wall. Others I had no clue how to figure out, or I didn't have the correct gadget to solve the puzzle, so I would come back to those ones later. I started heading towards the bridge to reach the other half of Gotham, where I had to go for the main story, and I completed the second rank of Gotham Protector here. Straight after that, I went on to complete the third rank by completing the 4 basic AR glide drills that were around the bridge. Eventually, I made it to the other side of the bridge, where I beelined it straight for Jezebel Plaza. Here we stake the place out until the meeting starts with Penguin's men. Once they've all arrived, we head down there and begin taking them all out until only the man in charge is left, who is known as Loose Lips. Here we see Batman's inexperience come out as he accidentally knocks him out before he can talk. But when he regains consciousness, Batman drops him from the nearby roof before catching him, and this makes him want to talk, but his phone starts ringing, so Batman just takes the SIM card from that instead to figure out where Penguin is. However, there is once again interference from a nearby network tower, so we have to deal with that first. Heading to the network tower, I solved a quick puzzle using the remote controlled Batarang, and was then able to shut down the jamming signal, unlocking another drop point for the Batwing and revealing all the network relays in the Bowery. I could now also access the SIM card, and this reveals Penguin has his own private communication network. Alfred manages to find 2 communication stations nearby, and hacking into those will allow us to triangulate Penguin's position. Before doing that, I continued doing some side stuff, and as a result I completed the 4th rank of the Shadow Vigilante track. After shutting down all the network relays in the area, I then made my way to the next main objective. During this fight, I completed the 5th rank of the Shadow Vigilante track. After that, I hacked into the communication station before heading to the next one. On the way, I completed the 6th rank of the Vigilante track. After hacking into the final communication station, this allows us to triangulate the signals, revealing that Penguin is hiding out on the Final Offer, an old ship at the edge of the map. So I made my way there, and I ended up completing the 4th rank of the Gotham Protector track. I then also completed the 2nd rank of the Worst Nightmare track too. After defeating all the enemies on top of the boat, I was able to make my way inside. We end up finding a drone identical to the one that was at Blackgate, confirming it was Penguin's drone. Eventually we make it to the boiler deck, where we overhear that Penguin is heading to his office and Tracy will be running the fights. Here I unlocked the Penguin's character profile, which completed the 2nd rank of the World's Greatest Detective track. After that, I made my way into the arena on the boiler deck, where we meet Tracy in person. And she reveals the best arena fighter they've got is there, who turns out to be the Electrocutioner.
I'm gonna kill you. Then I'm gonna jumpstart your heart. And kill you again.
Goddamn Electrocutioner.
Are you ready?
I just knew this was going to be a tough boss fight after that intro.
I ain't here to talk. I'm here to kick your ass.
Okay, bring it on then, buddy.
This is your last chance.
Black Mask must be out of his mind. Put up 50 million for your head. You about to be taught a lesson in pain. I know. Just think of me as a fat never.
Oh, what the heck?
Who wants to show me where the penguin is?
Ain't no way we just took him out with one kick after all that. Oh my god. After dealing with Electrocutioner, we then must defeat the rest of the henchmen in the room. Interrogating the last enemy, he tells us Penguin's office is accessed via the theater, but we'll have to get through Tracy first. During that fight, I also completed the 7th rank of the Vigilante track. After leaving the room, Tracy tells us over the radio that the Electrocutioner has reawakened and will be back for us later. Batman showing his inexperience again, as he should have tied him up so he couldn't escape. Batman asks Alfred if he can isolate the Electrocutioner's strong electromagnetic pulse from his gloves so he can track him down later. After that, I made it to the casino where we find Tracy hiding out in the security room above. To get to her, we must take down more enemies, and here I was able to complete the 8th rank of the Vigilante track. And I've just noticed I also completed the 9th one here as well. Eventually we find our way inside the security room, and she tries to hit us with a baseball bat, but we counter her and lock her inside a jail cell instead. We are then able to hack into the security system and shut down all of the security measures. This allows us to enter the theater room, and this is our first proper Predator room, as all the enemies are armed and our goal is to take them down using stealth. For the most part, I was successful, but I did get spotted by the end. I still took them all down, and this leaves a Falcone thug behind who tells us that the Penguin is in his office with Alberto Falcone. So we head inside where we meet Candy, Penguin's other assistant, and they are threatening and torturing Alberto, demanding him to tell his father that they must leave the weapons business so Penguin can take over. Before it can go any further though, we interrupt to come to his rescue. After defeating all the thugs, Batman starts interrogating the Penguin about the Black Mask, and he eventually reveals that there was a murder at Lacey Towers, which was one of Black Mask's safe houses. But before we can get any more information out of him, Deathstroke joins the party, and we end up back down in the arena, starting our next proper boss fight, and trust me, this one ain't a joke like the Electrocutioner one. There is also a missable achievement here that I would need to complete, and that is beating Deathstroke without failing a single counter, aka I couldn't get hit by him. Oh, I've been hit already. Restart. As you can see, however, you can restart checkpoint, and on my next attempt I did better, and thankfully the game gives you good button prompts to know how to counter some of his attacks, including this one where you have to spam counter. After this counter, you beat down Deathstroke, and I would need to do this 3 times once again in order to defeat him. But this attempt was not the one, as I failed to counter this grapple explosion attack, as I was not expecting it at all. The next time I did counter it though, as I knew what to expect. But I then accidentally performed a quickfire gel attack, which made me miss a basic counter. On the next attempt, I mistimed the grapple explosion attack, stuffing that counter up once again. The next few attempts I kept missing basic counters until eventually I made it to his 3rd phase, where he pulls out his sword, and unfortunately I mistimed a counter here too. I then panicked on the next attempt as well when I knew I was close to the end. And I did the same thing again the very next attempt. However, on my 10th attempt, I finally locked in, especially when I got to the 3rd stage, and made sure to counter everything. Counter. 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 Come on. Counter. Come on. Boom. No, not this crap again. This is the furthest I've made it. Come on. Boom, 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 boom. Come on. Is this it? Yes! Sorry, just pause real quick. You've probably noticed the custom achievements I've been using so far in the video, which is through an app I downloaded called Steam Achievement Notifier. It allows you to customize Steam achievements any way you like, and I'd highly recommend it if you are an achievement hunter on Steam. But I was using this so I could capture on OBS anytime I got an achievement, but unfortunately I forgot to turn on the stream notifications here, so these achievements weren't actually captured in my recording. So just pretend that these achievement pop-ups I made are the achievement notifications I saw. This is it. Yes! Yes! Let's go. Complete Deathstroke without failing a single encounter. Let's get it.
It's over, Slade. What are you?
After defeating Deathstroke, the Penguin along with Tracy and Candy retreat back into his office. From Deathstroke, we also pick up his remote claw and add it to our own arsenal of gadgets. I also got the next story achievement here too.
I have to get up to that balcony.
Defeat
the device
Deathstroke.
was using should do the trick.
One eye open. Why is my thing not working? Bro. Why it wasn't working, bro? What the damn it, now it's not gonna be in the recording. Why does it stop working all of a sudden? I'm gonna have to pop that in myself then, I guess. Don't worry, I did manage to get it working again after this. Anyway, using our new remote claw, we can create ziplines between two anchor points, allowing us to reach new areas. This allows us to quickly return to the door to Penguin's office above the arena, however it is tightly locked shut. Penguin then pretty much tells us to bugger off.
Well, as you can see, I got me hands full.
Ain't no way, bro.
Have a Merry Christmas, and piss off.
Bro, how did he... I know where he pulled them
See if you
both.
can find any information on a murder.
So instead, we contact Alfred about the Lacey Towers murder, and he tells us that there are reports that Black Mask is the one who has been murdered. So our next objective is to solve the crime scene at Lacey Towers. After this, I also completed the third rank of the detective track. On the way out of the final offer, we see TV broadcasts from a figure known as Anarchy, who declares that he is the voice of the people and will destroy the plague of corruption that infests Gotham City at dawn tomorrow. Back on the top of the boat, we can find an anarchist, one of Anarchy's thugs, waiting for us to deliver a message. We learn that Anarchy has placed 3 bombs around the city, and the anarchist tells us we have 3 minutes to find and shut off the first one before it detonates. On the way to this objective, the first case file, another side activity, also opens up after listening to a police radio frequency. Anyway, ignoring that for now, I then made it to the first bomb location, took down all the enemies and destroyed the bomb. After that, the second anarchist location is added to our map. Before doing anything else though, I headed back to the Batcave so I wouldn't miss a conversation with Alfred like I mentioned earlier, and I would continue to do this for the rest of the game. Following on from that, I made my way to the new case file crime scene, and these always involve using detective mode to analyze the crime scene and figure out what happened to the victim. Once the investigation is done, Batman usually figures out the culprit based off fingerprints or DNA, and we then track down their location using Alfred's help. However, before heading there, I stopped a crime in progress, which completed the 5th rank in the Gotham Protector track. I then made my way to the location, took down the culprit, and this closes the case file, officially solving it. After that, I headed to the second anarchist location, starting up another race to defuse a bomb. And this time I needed to cross the main bridge to the other half of Gotham, and I unknowingly earned my next achievement. Go. Oh, glide across the bridge without touching... Wait. Point to point. Glide across the bridge without touching the ground. I did not know that was an achievement. Wow, okay. I guess I probably would have got that earlier if I didn't stop along the way. After that, I continued to the second bomb location, once again taking down all the enemies and destroying the bomb. The third anarchist location was then added to my map. This time, I actually headed there straight away and started up the third bomb defusal. Once again, with only 3 minutes, I quickly made my way to the bomb location, defeated all the thugs, and destroyed the bomb. After this, Anarchy contacts us and tells us to meet him at the courthouse. Before doing that though, using our remote claw, I was able to shut down the jamming signal at the network tower in Burnley. This, of course meant I went on to destroy all of the network relays in Burnley too. After that, I then finally made my way to Lacey Towers. We sneak in through a balcony and make our way to Black Mask's apartment. Inside, we find a dead body that appears to be Roman Sionis, aka Black Mask, but it can't be confirmed, along with the dead body of his girlfriend Tiffany. Through investigation, we figure out that this crime took place several days ago, but we saw Black Mask earlier tonight. Someone also tried to burn all the evidence with a Molotov cocktail. However, we are able to figure out that the Black Mask body appears to have been shot by someone sitting in a chair, whereas the girlfriend appears to have been shot by someone lying on the ground. Batman figures out the person who shot her was being dragged along the floor by someone else. That means, besides the two victims, there were two other people in the room, Tiffany's shooter and whoever was dragging them. We find out that someone snuck in through the balcony and startled the Black Mask shooter before a fight broke out. We then learn that the female victim was attacked before Black Mask arrived, and finding her phone, we can see that she was sending text messages to Roman Sionis about someone named the Joker. At this point, Batman has never encountered the Joker before, so he knows nothing about him. So, to solve this crime, we must match the DNA samples against the records in the National Criminal Database to identify who was in the room. However, Alfred tells us the only way to access the database is by infiltrating the Gotham City Police Department. Also, after this investigation, I completed the 4th rank in the detective track. Alfred then recommends that we return to the Batcave to pick up our concussion detonator before heading to the GCPD. We also unlock our next story achievement here. Hey, achievement unlocked. Nobody that matters. Who is the Joker? Another achievement, let's go. So, following that, I travelled back to the Batcave where I picked up the concussion detonator. Whilst here, I decided to take on the training maps that I had unlocked so far, and these were actually quite useful, as to get the 3 medals on each map, I had to perform certain combat moves, and this was actually a good way to learn and get better at the combat. As a result, I got all the medals on the 3 maps I had unlocked so far. I then attempted the first combat challenge map, but I got nowhere near the 3 medals, so I knew I would have to try this again later. So I made my way to the GCPD instead to continue the story. We infiltrate the building via the rooftop, and once inside we make our way through the vents where we can see James Gordon briefing some of his men about the 8 assassins that are here in town tonight. Alfred then contacts us and lets us know our objective is the GCPD server room. On the way there, we see a cop called Brandon briefing a whole unit of SWAT officers, and turns out they are all corrupt, as they have also been offered the $50 million bounty from Black Mask for killing the Batman. So if the 8 assassins and countless thugs weren't enough, we now have cops after us too. After Brandon's character entry, this also completed the 5th rank in the detective track. Following on from that, we head into the interrogation room where we overhear our old friend Loose Lips telling a cop about a gadget known as the Disruptor. We take down the cop and continue our own interrogation of him, and he reveals the Disruptor is in the evidence lockup and it will allow us to jam weapons and override electronic locks. Moving on, we end up in some more vents where we overhear Gordon arguing with his daughter Barbara about whether Batman is good or not, as she believes he's doing a good job, but Gordon disagrees because he's a vigilante. After that, I ended up in the bullpen where we have another Predator room. This time I made sure to finish the encounter only using silent takedowns, as this would unlock me an achievement, and I also did it without ever being seen, as this would complete the 3rd rank of the Worst Nightmare track, along with getting me another achievement.
Nobody beats out a cop and walks away.
Like a setup. Keep up the...
Come on, let's go. I did it right. All silent takedowns? Is that not an achievement? Yes it is. Achievement unlocked. Let's go. 2 achievements. Wait. Silent Night. Complete a Predator encounter using only silent takedowns. And another one. There we go. Achievement unlocked. Complete a Predator encounter without ever being spotted. Yes, let's go. 2 achievements in 1. That's what I was trying to go for. After that encounter, I finally made it to the server room. However, it is locked behind a security door with a panel that is being jammed by a device, so I couldn't use the cryptographic sequencer to unlock it. This is where we pivot to getting the disruptor mentioned earlier from the evidence locker. So we make our way through the basement area of the GCPD until we make it to an old elevator shaft which takes us directly up into the evidence locker. Here we can grab the disruptor and add it to our arsenal of gadgets. After that, we quickly stop a riot in the holding cells area before making our way back to the server room, where we can now use the disruptor to jam the signal and use our sequencer to hack into the room. Entering the room, we find Barbara, who helps us in finding the database as she believes in Batman's cause, like we overheard earlier. She even tells us that we'll need to physically bridge the intranet to the external telecom wires if we want to uplink remotely, and the wires can be accessed via the sewers under the building. A smoke grenade is then thrown into the room and Batman quickly makes his escape. Barbara then covers for us as all the cops enter the room, but she says she was just voice chatting on her laptop. This gives us time to escape via a nearby vent, however we do have to fight our way out of the shooting range on the other side. We then make it to the elevator that takes us back up to the roof, but exiting we bump into Gordon and the two start arguing as Batman knows Gordon is a good cop. But then Brandon and some SWAT officers arrive who want to kill us, so we drop a smoke pellet and push Gordon to the side to save him from getting shot, but this knocks him out. We then take down Brandon and his goons before exiting to the roof. Outside, Barbara contacts us after hacking into our comms, letting us know that weapons caches have gone missing from the GCPD, linked to the Penguin, and she asks if we can use our disruptor to destroy them, starting up another side quest. There was one right nearby, so I went to it, took down the enemies, and then disrupted the cache, completing the first of 6. I then headed towards the main objective, and on the way I managed to complete the 6th rank of the Protector track. Afterwards, I arrived at the sewers and headed down. Down here we find some of Black Mask's men for some reason. Eventually we reach the GCPD telecom room, where we find out the reason his men are here is because they have set up explosives underneath the building. So we take out all the enemies to prevent them from setting off the bombs, and we also find the computer where we can remotely connect the Bat computer to the database. This finally allows us to perform the DNA analysis for the Lacey Towers case, and with the information from this, Batman can now solve the case. Essentially, Roman's girlfriend was spooked by the Joker, so she went to the safe house, but the Joker was waiting there for her. Later, Sionis arrived where he was shot upon entering, but from the DNA, we now know that he had instead sent in a decoy because of being paranoid, which allowed him to enter through the balcony to surprise the Joker. However, Sionis lost the ensuing fight, but Joker kept him alive as Sionis owns the Gotham Merchants Bank and the vault is protected by biometric security, so the Joker can use him to access the cash inside. On the way out of the apartment, Joker tied up loose ends by using a Molotov cocktail to burn the evidence, and he forced Sionis to shoot his own girlfriend. From this, our main objective becomes finding the Joker by heading to the Gotham Merchants Bank. Upon leaving the sewer though, we are greeted by thugs wearing bunny masks who perform a song before being electrocuted. Batman is then contacted by the Mad Hatter, who has kidnapped a girl, and this opens another side quest to stop him and save her. I then explored the city for a bit, where I completed the 10th rank of the Vigilante track. After that, I destroyed another Penguin cache, and then gliding across the bridge, I completed the 7th rank of the Protector track. I destroyed another cache before taking on my next case file investigation. However, before apprehending the suspect, I destroyed another cache and then completed the 11th rank of the Vigilante track. At this point, I was close by to the courthouse, so I decided to head inside and confront Anarchy. Inside, we fight against a bunch of anarchists before Anarchy himself joins the fight. However, he ends up going down pretty quickly as we find out that he is just a normal kid. Batman apprehends him, and as a result, we get our next achievement for completing our first most wanted side quest.
They're just afraid.
No, they're weak. And so are you.
Uh-oh. Hey, achievement unlocked. Let's go.
The police are on their way.
One down, several to go. Completed a most wanted entry. Awesome. After that, I shut down the jamming tower in Park Row, and so I then of course also went on to destroy all of the network relays in the area too. I then destroyed the 5th out of 6 Penguin caches before I headed to the Mad Hatter's hat shop. Upon entering, I completed the 6th rank in the detective track. Climbing through some vents, we find Mad Hatter in a room testing out his mind control device on all his thugs, so we head in and take them all down. We then confront Mad Hatter on where Alice is, but he uses the clock behind him to hypnotize us, where we are then transported into Wonderland. Here we must make our way through this trippy world, solving puzzles and fighting enemies along the way. Mad Hatter reveals he is trying to break Batman's mind and control him like the rest of his thugs. Overall, this is a unique and fun side mission as it's different to the rest of the game, and I'm pretty sure this is like the Scarecrow missions in Arkham Asylum from what I've seen, but I guess we'll find out when I play that game. Anyway, Batman is strong enough to resist his mind control, and we eventually escape Wonderland where we find Mad Hatter holding Alice hostage. However, Batman pulls out the reverse Batarang and uses that to take Mad Hatter down. We then properly wake up to find the room all messed up, Mad Hatter knocked out, and Alice is safe. This completes Mad Hatter's most wanted entry. Following on from that, I continued with the main story as I made my way to the bank where we break in through the roof. Inside, we find everyone in the bank already dead, but using detective vision, we can see people in the vault. So using a nearby vent and some explosive gel, we blow our way through the roof to enter the room. Here we find Black Mask and demand to know where the Joker is. He pretends to not know, but then brings out Roman Sionis, confirming that he is still alive. The fake Black Mask then beats him up and throws him into the getaway vehicle nearby, all whilst one of the employees is laughing her head off manically. We then of course get the big reveal. Oh shit. Oh, it's the Joker!
It's been you this whole time. You hired the assassins. You've been running Sionis' operation.
Well, technically it's my operation now.
Isn't that right, boys?
You got
Oh
me.
my god, she's laughing her head off.
Oh, life would be so simple if you were all I wanted. No, you're just a teeny little distraction compared to what I've got up my sleeve. Here, have a laugh on me. Do you hear that? Sounds like 8 tiny reindeer.
Oh my goodness. After almost getting blown up, we find the girl dead next to us, but grinning like the Joker. And here is where we get our next story achievement. Hey! Achievement unlocked. Everyone wears masks, find the Black Mask. Let's go. After quickly zipping up to the vantage point, a bunch of the Joker's men enter the bank, and we have another Predator encounter on our hands. After taking down all the enemies, the last one surrenders, and we interrogate him on where the Joker is going. He mentions something about the steel mill, which is another building that Sionis owns, so that becomes our next place to investigate. We can also analyze the dead laughing girl here, and we find out that the laughter was a side effect of a poison that caused her to slowly die. Outside of the bank, we can hear a baby crying, and heading towards the noise, we find a pram out in the open. It's clearly a trap, and sure enough, we find that it's just a recording before Shiva ambushes us. However, after countering her, we don't fight straight away. Instead, we talk, where she reveals that there is an innocent man somewhere in Gotham that is about to die, and she challenges us to save him before she vanishes in a cloud of smoke. Of course, opening another side quest. However, I continued with the main objective for now as I made my way to the steel mill, and taking out the guards on the outside of the building, I was able to complete the 4th rank of the Nightmare track. Before heading inside the mill, Alfred contacts us, letting us know we can now track the electrocutioner with our scanner, as Alfred was able to isolate the signal coming from his gloves. Batman is actually kinda rude here, as he says, "A bit late now," as we're about to potentially catch the Joker and Black Mask. We then enter the mill, where we of course fight our way through a bunch of Joker's men until we find Black Mask's computer, and from that we find out Sionis had a pacemaker implanted for his heart, and he was also having the Joker followed and under surveillance. This means if we find Sionis, he will know what the Joker is planning. Alfred then tells us from the files he found a chemical like the compound needed for our glue grenades, so he starts synthesizing it in the lab. We then make our way into the next room, where we are introduced to armored enforcer enemies, and to take them down we use the ultra stun technique with our cape, and this allows us to rapidly build our combo meter up, and as a result I got my next achievement. Oh, achievement unlocked. Free flow 50, reach a 50 combo. Damn, I only just got that. 64 combo, let's go. Moving on, we find a concealed room with an elevator at the back that arrives with a Joker thug dead. Scanning the body, we find out he was poisoned, hinting that someone is waiting for us down here. Taking the lift down, we find the secret drug lab that Black Mask has underneath the mill, and we once again have another Predator room. For this one, I made sure to complete it without using detective vision, even restarting at one point after I accidentally used it, so once I completed the room, I would also complete the 5th rank in the Nightmare track. After that, we enter Black Mask's office where we find Sionis tied up, so Batman releases him before demanding where the Joker is. As Batman is interrogating him, we can see Copperhead slowly approaching him from above. Black Mask refuses to tell Batman anything as he wants to find and kill the Joker himself after everything he's done to him. So Batman threatens to remotely control his pacemaker to make him talk. But before he can, Copperhead attacks. Sionis then makes his escape as the other two continue to scuffle. Eventually, Copperhead scratches Batman and he realizes he's been poisoned by her. She then escapes the way she came, telling us that we will die soon. Acting quickly, Batman begins analyzing the surrounding area until he finds a drop of the neurotoxin that Copperhead left behind. He then uploads it to Alfred and asks him to synthesize an antidote. We then must make our way back to ground level so Alfred can send it to us via a drop pod. As we begin making our way back, Batman is struggling as he starts hallucinating as all his inner negative thoughts start coming out. Eventually we make it to the ground level, but this is where Copperhead starts attacking us as the poison makes it look like she's split into multiples and we must fight big groups of her. Thus begins her boss fight. For the most part, each of her copies are easy to deal with as they go down in a couple of hits before disappearing, but because there were so many of her, it could become overwhelming. After defeating them all though, she starts doing quick attacks from the side of the arena which we must dodge, and then we fight 3 copies of her. After repeating that a few times, the drop pod arrives with the antidote and Batman injects himself with it, saving his life. Back to normal, we get another electrocutioner moment as Batman takes down Copperhead with one attack now that he's back to his regular self. This time, learning from Electrocutioner as well, he ties her up and throws her in the back of a container to prevent her from escaping. Before shutting the door, she tries to make a deal with Batman saying she knows where the Joker is. Apparently he has called a meeting with all the assassins, and if we set her free, she will tell us where it's taking place. Batman still locks her in as he has figured out a way to find the Joker from her information. This is explained after, as if you can remember, Batman can now track the Electrocutioner from his gloves, and so he will lead us straight to the assassin's meeting with the Joker. On the way out of the steel mill, I ended up completing the 7th rank in the detective track, and I was also told to destroy a gas canister. This opens another side quest to destroy all 6 of Black Mask's drug stashes found around the city. Heading outside, I ended up shutting down the jamming tower in the industrial district, but I was getting sick of destroying network relays, so instead I headed to the location on the map to complete Shiva's test. Here we go inside the shopping complex building, where we find a man tied up hanging above an electrified water fountain, so we figure out a way to shut off the electricity whilst also dealing with some of Shiva's assassins. After the electricity is off, we can cut the man down, who is a police officer, and he tells us her assassins went after his partner, so we scan some blood nearby, which allows us to follow its trail to the next location. Following it, we find the other partner who is already dead, and Shiva ambushes us once again. We counter her and then have another conversation with her where she tells us to meet her at Sheldon Park before disappearing again. So I headed straight there, and here we can enter the Wonder Tower lobby. Inside we find Shiva, who believes that Batman's cause is flawed because he doesn't kill, and she was trying to teach him that lesson as the cop they killed was corrupt and a murderer. Batman disagrees and thus begins a boss fight with her. And just like the Deathstroke fight, this one also had a missable achievement tied to it, as we must defeat Shiva without taking any damage at all. However, during this fight we not only have to fight her, but we also must deal with some of her assassins as well. And this could be quite hard, as I would have to perform normal counters, acrobatic counters, and blade dodges, which all have different button prompts. Funnily enough, I first got hit in a QuickTime event, which you think would be the easiest to counter, but there was no warning signal for some reason, so I had no idea the attack was coming, but I now knew for future attempts. So I restarted straight away, but it wasn't long before I missed a basic counter near the start, and then missed a blade dodge on the next attempt too. The same thing then happened again, and again, and again. And guess what? Again! Blade dodges appeared to be my weakness as I mainly kept missing those, but I was still missing normal counters too. I was starting to think this would be impossible, as I kept making these mistakes early in the fight and was making barely any progress at all. But on my next attempt, I must have been absolutely locked in as I finally made it to the second phase where harder enemies back her up. But I was patient, countering all their attacks until I took them all down and only Shiva was left.
Burn your place. Let me show you.
Come on, I'm so close.
You cannot. The test is ended, and with it, your life.
No, come on.
Enough.
Did I do it? Did I do it? Please. I didn't get hit, right? Yes! Achievement unlocked! Let's go!
I see now why the master has chosen you.
Flawless display! Successfully battle Shiva without taking any damage. Holy crap, I had to lock in right then. That was tough. After the achievement, Shiva mentions her master and cleansing Gotham before it is reborn from the ashes, and then she disappears once again. I don't know much about Shiva from other Batman media, but I'm guessing that she's most likely talking about Ra's al Ghul when she says master. I'm also guessing this is answered later in the series. For now though, this officially completes Shiva's most wanted entry. Moving on, I continued towards the main objective, which was to reach the top of the bridge so we could pick up Electrocutioner's signal. On the way there, Alfred contacts us about an SOS signal that is being broadcast nearby and adds the location to our map, starting another side quest. For now though, I made it to the top of the bridge and began tracking Electrocutioner's signal. Whilst I was then gliding around the city following this signal, I ended up getting my next achievement. Oh, glide 26 miles total. Wait, what? Why didn't the trophy pop? Let me show you this real quick if I can. Yeah, see, glide 26 miles total. Interesting. Well, I did get I got another achievement. I don't know why it didn't pop on my screen, but there you go, gliding 26 miles total, eh? Anyways, following the signal, it leads us to the Royal Gotham Hotel, but we find SWAT officers outside protecting the entrance as we overhear that they believe Black Mask has taken the place over and is paying them off. So they obviously don't realize that the Joker is pretending to be the Black Mask yet. Instead of heading through the front doors, we instead make our way around the side of the building and enter through the underground car park after taking out some enemies. In the car park, we find the Joker's ambulance that he escaped in from the bank, confirming that he is here somewhere in the building. We then find the elevator and make our way up into the hotel, where Alfred tells us to find the security room, and using the cameras we might be able to find out where the Joker is. We find ourselves in the lobby after this, where we have a Predator encounter, and after taking down all the enemies here, we can then hack our way into the security room and gain access to the security cameras. On the cameras, we find the Joker still pretending to be Black Mask in the penthouse along with Bane, Firefly, and the Electrocutioner. But he quickly reveals that he is the Joker after the Electrocutioner isn't paying attention. And here we get a glimpse of Joker's menacing side.
Just who the hell are you? I'm the guy with the money and the gun. So, when I hire you to kill the Batman, you shut the hell up and kill the Batman! So do you have anything else to contribute? I didn't think so.
Oh my goodness. Oh, he's dead.
This fruitcake is fantastic. Anyone want a piece? All right, meeting's adjourned. Get out there and kill the bat. right. Move it along, big boy.
No, he's coming for you now. And when he gets here, I'm going to kill him. So you wait.
Well, this should be interesting.
Bane's a menace. With the electrocutioner falling and dying right where we are, we can take his shock gloves and add them to our own arsenal. This allows us to now charge generators and complete puzzles we couldn't previously do. So using this newly powered lift, we can grapple up to the 10th floor. Here I also got to use our new shock gloves in combat, which supercharge our punches, allowing us to even punch armored enemies without having to stun them first. So these were very OP. But they do have a time limit on them before they need charging again. Anyway, we eventually take the elevator shaft up to the 19th floor, where we save a hotel employee who tells us there are more hostages in the suspended bar between the towers. So we end up ziplining across to the west tower, where we climb up a ventilation shaft to make it to the 25th floor. On this floor we find the ballroom, which Joker has turned into a mini carnival show, as we are forced to complete mini games to save the lives of some of his goons. After completing all his twisted puzzles and games in this room, we save another employee in the next area who tells us to go through the doors into the overview bar, where we fight some more enemies and save the hostages that were mentioned earlier. Once the hostages are safe, we can then focus on making it to the penthouse, so we grapple up to the 28th floor of the east tower. But here we find an elaborate setup of bombs that are set to go off at New Year's. So we try to hack into them to stop it, but this causes the timer to drop down to only 20 seconds. So with some quick thinking, we dive out of the nearby window, and luckily there's a news helicopter outside that we can grapple onto. They then hover over the east tower terrace, where a bunch of enemies have gathered, so we drop down and start taking them out. This part is really cool, as the camera angle is from the perspective of the news broadcast, and we hear Vicky Vale reporting in the background, who says this is the first time the Batman has ever been caught on camera. Eventually the helicopter is shot at and we go back to the normal camera angle. After taking down all the enemies, we head inside onto the 40th floor, where Alfred calls us and says that we should call in Captain Gordon for backup, but Batman in his inexperience says he doesn't need allies. We then make it to the swimming pool room, where we have a Predator encounter and take down some of Bane's men. This gives us access up to the penthouse via the elevator here. Batman notices the hatch at the top of the elevator and goes through that, so if anyone is waiting, he can surprise them. And sure enough, Bane is waiting, but he's smarter than that and literally reaches through the top of the elevator and pulls Batman down. He then throws us into the penthouse where the Joker is waiting. Bane wants to kill Batman, but Joker made a deal with Bane that he would get a minute to discuss things with Batman. So Bane leaves the room and the Joker reveals that he's got detonators for different buildings all around the city, and ends up pressing one of them, blowing up an entire building that we can see out of the window. This absolutely pisses Batman off, demanding how many people did the Joker just kill. He replies none, he thinks, as it was just a construction site, but the next one won't be. Batman quickly destroys the detonator in his hand and begins wailing on the Joker. But this is when Bane comes back into the room and tells us he's gonna kill us before throwing us out of the window down into the library below. This begins our next boss fight with Bane. At first we fight him like a normal big enemy, but he quickly takes his jacket off, revealing all the venom tubes running through his body. When he has the venom activated, he is invulnerable to all normal attacks, and the only way to damage him is to ultra stun him with our cape, build up our combo meter, and then perform a takedown where we rip one of his venom tubes, causing him to go back to normal. We can then deal damage until he eventually reactivates the venom, which the second time around he throws us out the window again, this time back down to the balcony from earlier, where the Joker arrives to watch. Our fight with Bane continues, but this time in venom mode he has a charge attack that can only be dodged, so we must keep dodging until he stops and we get a chance to stun him and repeat the same process. At this point we also must fight some of his thugs at the same time, but we can use our new shock gloves too, which makes the fight go by even quicker with how much damage they do. And honestly, that's all there is to this fight, as we just rinse and repeat that same process until Bane's health is almost fully depleted. Once that happens, he activates like a super venom mode, but thankfully the cops arrive just in time to save us. However, the cops' helicopters end up getting shot out of the sky by some of Bane's men on another helicopter, but I guess Bane thinks it's still too risky to hang around, so he boards the helicopter, but not before Batman can throw a tracker onto Bane's back. The Joker is then frustrated by Bane leaving, so he begins shooting at his heli, which in turn makes Bane grab a rocket launcher and shoot a rocket straight back at the Joker, who accepts that he is going to die before he gets blown away off the building, of course laughing the whole time though. We then return to Batman, who of course can't let anyone die, so he jumps off the building, quickly flying down to save the Joker, and this is where we get our next story achievement. Can't, oh my god, he's trying to fight us mid-air, what are you doing? One rule. Achievement unlocked. One rule, save a life. Oh my god, yeah, that's Batman's #1 rule. Even if it's freaking Joker.
Why would you do that? Newsflash! I'm the one who's trying to kill you! Those were two very, very bad men. Ooh, the things they've done. You really don't want to know. They deserved death. Just like me. Freeze!
Don't move, freak!
I think he's talking to you.
Take him down!
Hey, go for the Joker, not me.
Let me guess. You got away. Take him to Blackgate.
Where'd he go? Huh? The Bat. Your partner.
My partner?
Who else would jump off a building to save your sorry ass?
You know, officer. I was wondering the same thing myself.
We then cut to Blackgate Prison, where the Joker is about to undergo a psychiatric evaluation from a familiar looking character. Here we sort of get a flashback, an insight into the Joker's origin, and a look inside his mind. We see Joker in a comedy club where we get to play as him fighting against an arena full of thugs, and I guess this shows the Joker's failings as a comedian. Because we then cut to playing as the Red Hood, the Joker version of course, which is often shown as his origin to becoming the Joker. We slowly make our way through a twisted memory version of the chemical plant, where we hear the whole conversation between the Joker and the psychologist as he slowly comes to believe that his whole life has led up to this moment of meeting the Batman and getting saved by him. We then see a monster version of Batman throw the Joker into a vortex of chemicals, which we see affect the Joker's blood, before we cut to him outside the chemical plant pipes, where he takes his red hood off, revealing his white skin and green hair. The whole time he talks about finally meeting someone who he can relate to, clearly referring to Batman, but the psychologist thinks he's talking about her, and when he says he doesn't know their real name yet, obviously referring to Batman's secret identity, she reveals her name is Harleen Quinzel. Joker alludes to calling her Harley and that she now has a new friend in him, showing exactly how Joker was able to manipulate her. We then cut back to Batman arriving at the Batcave, who also has a similar vision to the Joker, as we see the origin of Batman as a young kid in Crime Alley, where his parents get shot by a criminal. Alfred then arrives hoping to finally celebrate Christmas Eve with Bruce, but he says Bane is still out there and he needs to stop him. Batman then blames Alfred for calling in the police to the hotel, which allowed Bane to escape. Batman then overhears a police report on the radio that says a large muscly figure has been found dead and taken to the GCPD morgue, which Batman believes could be Bane or one of his men. Before leaving though, Alfred says that our glue grenade is finally ready to use. So we head down to the workbench and acquire our next gadget. However, as we head off to leave the Batcave, Alfred tries to stop us and we get Peek.
Master Bruce, stop! Master Bruce! Bruce, I will not in good conscience allow you to go. You're outmatched by these assassins.
What?
You're not some hardened vigilante. You're You're a young man with a trust fund and too much anger. You're in over your head, and I don't want this to be your end.
Alfred, who do you see when you look at me? The boy whose shoes you used to tie every morning? The teenager you drove to his first date? While you are here every night, I am out there. The only thing between the innocent and the predator. No, not may be. I am. When the mugger or the thief stops to think twice, that is fear. That is what I am. That is why they hired assassins, because I am the reason the criminals breathe easier when the sun rises. So no, Alfred, I am not in over my head. Tonight will not be my end, but it will be theirs.
We then make our way to the GCPD, and fighting some cops outside, I completed the 12th rank in the Vigilante track. And following straight after that, I fought some more enemies and ended up completing the 13th rank in the Vigilante track too. I then made my way down into the sewers underneath the GCPD, where I could now use the newly acquired glue grenades to block off the steam from the pipes to reach an area we previously couldn't access when we were down here earlier. One of these tunnels leads straight up into the morgue, where we find out that the body isn't Bane, but just one of his men. But from the autopsy report, we discover that although venom dramatically increases and alters bone and muscle mass, the drug severely impairs the memory center, and prolonged use can compromise the user's memory. At the same time, the tracking device Batman planted on Bane reactivates, and Batman proceeds to go after him. On the way out of the sewers, we overhear a police broadcast that mentions chemical weapons, and so another side quest opens to investigate a gang fight. Before heading to the main objective, I did end up taking out the first of 6 Black Mask drug stashes that was nearby. Then I made my way to the tracker's location, where we go down into some sewers, taking out some of Bane's men along the way, and using our glue grenades to make rafts in the water that we can ride on to make our way further in. Until eventually we make it to Bane's secret underground HQ. Here we find out Bane is addicted to venom and can't live without it, but has yet to find a way to counter the side effects on the brain. Further in, we find the tracker sitting on a table, and picking it up, some computer screens turn on, revealing video showing that Bane knows Bruce Wayne and Batman are one and the same. Batman angrily destroys the equipment before blowing up the room to destroy the evidence. Batman then contacts Alfred, telling him that he isn't safe at Wayne Manor and to barricade himself into the Batcave. However, before Batman can rush back to the Batcave, he hears reports that Firefly is holding hostages on the Pioneers Bridge to try and bait Batman out, as he doesn't realize the Joker is already behind bars, so Batman tells Alfred that he must deal with Firefly first before he can return. So I quickly rush my way to the bridge, where we see Firefly causing havoc. Batman calls in his Batwing to distract Firefly so he can enter inside the bridge and deactivate some bombs that Firefly has planted to blow up the bridge. Heading into the maintenance room, Batman runs into Gordon, warning him not to send in his men yet, as Firefly will blow up the bridge if any police set foot on it until Batman shows up. After that, we head up into the boiler room, where we have another Predator encounter, and taking down all of the enemies, the final one surrenders and we can interrogate them on the bombs Firefly has placed. We find out there are 4 in total, 1 with us in the boiler room, 1 in the sub-level, and 2 more at each end of the bridge. So using our sequencer, we can disarm the first bomb here in the boiler room. Continuing, we use a lift to head up to the electric room, where we defeat some enemies and find Brandon tied up. We untie him, but he straight away tries to attack us, so we knock his ass back out once again. Moving into the next room, we find the train station, where we defeat some more enemies and save a carriage full of hostages by lowering it down and then disarming the second bomb. We then find the fire door has been closed at the north end of the bridge, so we can't access the bomb that way, and Gordon refuses to open it for us, so in the meantime, we head to the south end whilst Alfred obtains the codes needed to open the fire door. Heading towards the south end, the bridge starts falling apart, so we must traverse there the hard way using our grapple gun. Once we make it to the south area, we take out a full room of enemies before disarming the third bomb. We then head back to the train station, where we overhear Gordon telling his men to breach, but we still need to disarm the final bomb. Luckily, Alfred has now got the codes for the fire door and is able to open it, and we can start making our way to the north end. However, on the way, we see a police helicopter go down due to Firefly, so Batman makes the decision to head up onto the bridge and confront Firefly face to face before he can cause any more deaths. Upon confronting him, Batman uses his back claw to try and pull Firefly down, which doesn't work, but he does drop the detonator for the final bomb on the bridge. And this begins our boss fight with Firefly. I can't lie though, this boss fight is extremely easy as we use our glue grenade to incapacitate Firefly before we wail on him with batarangs to deal damage. In between, we must dodge his flamethrower attacks, but once there's an opening, we glue grenade him up and rinse and repeat the process. Eventually, we can do a finisher on him using our back claw, and this does major damage. Once he gets to about half health, he ends up getting his hands on the detonator and goes to press the button, but surprisingly no explosions go off, which means that we distracted him just long enough so Gordon and his men could disarm the final bomb. This angers Firefly, and we have a quick chase sequence through the bridge until we reach another arena area, and this time we not only have to dodge his flame attacks, but grenade attacks too. Repeating the same process though, we get him to low enough health where he starts dropping grenades everywhere, and our only option is to grapple onto Firefly himself, which starts up a quick time event sequence as he flies us around the bridge until Batman gets the upper hand by sticking him with a glue grenade once again. We then crash land where Batman rips Firefly's wings off and leaves him hanging tied up for the cops to arrest him. Batman then confronts Gordon with the detonator, but they both kind of agree that they covered things well, and them working together saved the day. Batman quickly leaves in the Batwing though, where he is contacted by Bane, who is already in the Batcave and has left Alfred alive just long enough for Batman to say his final goodbyes. We arrive to find the Batcave in ruins and Alfred nowhere to be seen, so we head over to fix the Batcomputer to get our detective vision back up and working. With detective vision, we can then see Alfred down at the bottom of the cave beneath some rubble, so we head down to rescue him. However, after removing the rubble, Alfred says his final words before he dies in Batman's arms. This angers Bruce as it reminds him of his parents, but in his anger, he remembers he still has the shock gloves and comes up with the idea to resuscitate Alfred using them as a defib machine. After shocking him a few times, he thankfully regains consciousness and survives. Bruce then takes him up to the medical bed to allow him to recover. Realizing that he nearly cost Alfred his life, Batman loses the will to keep fighting crime. However, Alfred has an epiphany and encourages Batman to continue the fight, but this time he shouldn't only rely on himself, but also use the strength of his allies to help him. Over the radio, we then hear that the Joker has taken over Blackgate Prison and is starting a riot. So, Bruce suits back up to save the day.
Multiple casualties, multiple hostages. Again, we have lost Blackgate. Captain Gordon is calling on anyone for assistance.
They need you. No. They need us.
Yeah. Finally, he's working together with them. Boom, here we go. So we of course then arrive back at Blackgate where this game all started. Out the front of the prison we take down a whole group of enemies and save some cops in the process, and Batman, having taken the lessons on board from Alfred, asks the cops for their help to secure the gates for Gordon and lock the prison down so no one else can escape. We then head down into the sewers where we traverse our way through them, solving puzzles and taking out enemies until we can make our way up inside the prison. Inside the Nexus part of the prison we have a Predator encounter where we defeat all the enemies and save the hostages in the middle, one of them turning out to be Harleen Quinzel. After freeing her, she doesn't seem too phased and tells us that the Joker is waiting for us in the Panopticon. So we fight our way through the prison cell blocks to get there, even running into Deathstroke at one point, who is still in his cell as the Joker was too afraid to let him out. He says we don't have to worry about him anymore as he realizes the bounty is no longer valid. We continue fighting our way through the prison until eventually we do make it to the Panopticon. Here we find Joker holding the warden at knife point, and he also explains his master plan. The Joker has set up an elaborate trap to make Batman violate his no-kill rule. Bane, who is also present, has strapped on a heart monitor, and with every heartbeat charges the battery for an electric chair the Joker is now sitting in. So if Batman refuses to kill Bane, then the Joker will die, and if he fails to kill either of them, then it'll be Batman who dies. and if the monitor is removed, it will explode, killing both of them. So Bane hops down, and thus another boss fight with him begins. This boss fight starts off the same as the previous Bane one, as we dodge his attacks until we can ultra stun him and perform a finisher on him, dealing damage. After doing this twice though, Bane grabs Batman and slams his back down on his knee, incapacitating Batman. Gordon then arrives to stop the Joker, and at first he shoots the two goons holding the Warden hostage, but as soon as the two release the Joker, he knocks the Warden out and takes Gordon captive, raising the stakes as he will also die if Batman doesn't kill Bane. Batman then has the realization from what the electrocutioner said earlier in the game and comes up with the idea that he can stop Bane's heart and then restart it after the Joker thinks he is dead. So we once again must repeat the same boss fight process with Bane, but this time it is definitely harder as there are so many more extra enemies that we must take on at the same time. Eventually, once he's low enough health though, Batman is able to electrocute him until his heart stops beating. He also rips out the back of Bane's Venom backpack thing and throws it away down a grate, which I wonder if that sets anything up for the future games. With Bane down, Batman tells Joker to stop, but with his gun he tries to shoot the Warden, but Gordon jumps in front, taking the bullet for him. The Joker then flees to escape the prison and continue his plan to blow Gotham up. It's then revealed that Gordon had his bulletproof vest on and that saved him. Batman asks for their help as he reveals to them that he didn't kill Bane, as that's not his way of doing things, and whilst he's resuscitating Bane, if they can go after the Joker to stop him. So they do, and we start CPR on Bane. And just like Alfred, we are successful in saving him, but he grabs Batman and decides with no other choice, he injects his new Venom formula known as TN1, which transforms him into an even bigger hulking beast. Batman thinks quickly by exploding the floor below with explosive gel, and they fall, giving Batman enough time to escape Bane's grasp. Here, I also completed the 10th rank of the detective track. Anyway, we now have another boss fight against Bane, but this time we must do it in stealth as he is too strong to take head on. Alfred warns us that we only have 10 minutes until the TN1 reaches its full potency, meaning Bane can take us out in one hit. So we must sneak around the arena until we can approach Bane from behind and jump on his back, causing him to sprint until he runs into a wall, dealing damage. We then must run away to break line of sight from Bane and repeat the process. There is also an option to do a wall takedown on him when you're near an electrical wall, and this stuns him, allowing you to do a beatdown on him, dealing massive damage. At half health, Bane starts sprinting around for a bit, which makes it harder to get away from him. Eventually, a jamming signal is activated too, making it harder to know where Bane is in the arena, as detective vision doesn't work. We also overhear on the radio that the Joker has Gordon pinned down in death row, so we must hurry. I quickly identified the jamming signal and shut it down, making Bane easier to find, and I could deal the final blow. Boom! Okay. Do we get him?
It's over, Alfred. I've defeated Bane.
I was gonna say, is it really?
Master Bruce, are you alright?
Oh. Holy crap. How on earth would someone survive that? Shit. Well, that works. After defeating Bane, it appears that he suffers permanent memory loss as a side effect of the TN1, thus preserving Batman's secret identity. With that solved, we then rush back into the main prison area where we find Warden Joseph, who warns us of a sniper, but then Killer Croc runs in whilst we're distracted and grabs us, giving the sniper an easy shot. However, Gordon arrives just in time to knock the sniper out, but the gun still goes off, thankfully hitting Killer Croc though, causing him to scurry off. With Gordon's help, we then take down a bunch of thugs to protect the Warden from getting hurt. After that, Gordon tells us that the Joker headed towards the prison chapel through the next door. So we pursue after him, and sure enough, we find the Joker waiting for us in the chapel. Joker celebrates about Batman killing someone, but Batman reveals that Bane is still alive, which the Joker does not find funny. He aims a gun at Batman, but we counter him and kick him away. We then proceed to start beating him up until we throw him into a window. The whole time he is trying to goad Batman into killing him as he tries to slice us with glass shards, but Batman stuns him and we start the beatdown of the century where we get our final story achievement. Holy crap. Oh. Holy Jesus. Hey! Achievement unlocked.
That's why you do it, isn't it?
Perhaps sooner, perhaps later. Defeat the Joker. Simple as that, just a quick time event, really.
Come on, baby. Beat me till your knuckles bleed. Why quit there? You know there's only one way to stop me.
Any one of my guys would have killed him.
The city deserves better than that.
You know, my daughter thinks you're a hero. But I still have to bring you in.
Gordon, come in. What's your 20?
I'm in the chapel. We got the Joker.
Son of a bitch. You caught him. And how did you do that?
I had some help.
Good old Batman. We then end the story with Gordon commenting to Barbara that the city finally has something to believe in again, as we see all the villains we defeated being locked back up in Blackgate.
Stop his heart. That is funny. Good one, Bats. This is going to be fun.
Maybe I can give them something to believe in. Maybe he can give them something to believe in.
Yo, that is just straight aura. What a story. Batman Arkham Origins. After the credits roll, the game tells us that we have unlocked New Game Plus mode and the ability to wear alternative Batman outfits. In a post-credit scene, we see Amanda Waller recruiting Deathstroke from prison for the Suicide Squad. After that, we are then thrown back into the open world to continue exploring and completing the rest of the side content. And so thus began the cleanup, as now that I had every gadget from the story, I could get the rest of the collectibles. So I began going district by district, completing the side activities in each. The first major thing I completed was destroying all the network relays in Amusement Mile, and soon after that I ended up completing the full set of 10 data packs for Extortion File 2, which deciphers it and got me my next achievement. Oh. Achievement unlocked. Counterintelligence, decipher 1 extortion file. Oh, we finished number 2. Hell yeah. After that, I then decided to head back to the Batcave and check out all the costumes I could now wear after the story, and some of these were pretty cool. Returning to the map, I headed towards the SOS broadcast that we unlocked earlier in the story. Arriving at the building, we find it's a setup as a SWAT helicopter arrives, but all of a sudden, it is shot out of the sky by something. We head down to the crash site, but find no survivors, so we set up a crime scene. We find out that the pilot wasn't shot, so it must have been something else that caused him to lose control. Replaying the scene, we find the tail rotor was severed off in the crash, and upon finding and analysing it on the roof, we discover that the tail rotor was shattered by a high-powered bullet round. We find a SWAT sniper on a roof across from the building, however it doesn't make sense why a police member would fire on their own helicopter. So through scanning, we learn that he was shot from somewhere else, and the same bullet ricocheted off the wall, hitting the helicopter too, meaning it could only be one person.
There's only one person capable of a shot like this.
Deadshot. Hey, Jinx.
the trajectory.
Here I also ended up completing the 11th rank in the detective track. Following the bullet's trajectory, we then find the location, and sure enough, we quite literally find a bullet casing with Deadshot written on it, confirming it was him. We also find a radio frequency on the bullet, and decoding it, Deadshot has left us a message telling us to meet him at the bank so we can claim the bounty, and he also has a hostage we need to save too. So I headed straight to the bank where we find Deadshot along with some of his men, and we once again have another Predator encounter here, but it also acts as a unique boss fight as Deadshot can hit us from anywhere if we give away our position. I managed to take down the rest of his men and then just started beating him down over and over again. But when he gets low health, he runs off to the hostage and will kill them if he spots you, along with more thugs arriving to help. And I unfortunately learnt this the hard way. In fact, I kept failing this way repeatedly as the extra thugs would catch me off guard or the hostage would be killed in a glitchy way, even though I was mid-fighting Deadshot. In the end, I was getting frustrated on how to do this, but on my next attempt, I somehow glitched the game out and defeated him with a smoke bomb and silent takedown before he could run to the hostage, getting my next achievement. Oh, we just got an achievement unlocked.
Well, I've got to say, I was expecting someone a little more.
The Innocent and the Predatory capture all of Black Mask's assassins. I'm so confused. I don't know what I just did, but we captured him, I guess. I think the game glitched out. We've captured Killer Croc, captured Firefly, the Electrocution is deceased, Deathstroke's captured, Deadshot's captured, and Copperhead is captured, and Bane is captured. It was then back to the open world where I completed Extortion File 4. I then also finally destroyed the last network relay in the Industrial District. I even found a unique way to solve an Enigma data pack. Well, that works. I don't know if that's how you meant to do it, but... I feel like that's... Oh, you meant to throw in a remote controlled batarang. I just realized I'm so stupid. Well, that's one way to solve it anyway. After that, I headed to the bird icon on the map to investigate the gang fight. Here we defeat an entire group of enemies, interrogating the last one about a canister who says it's a gift for Bane, but won't say where the rest is. However, we hear over the radio there are more gang members at the port. So we head over there, taking out another gang fight full of enemies and interrogating the last one, who tells us nothing again. But Alfred contacts us, letting us know that the canisters contain an ingredient that is used in the creation of venom, and scanning the area might show traces of it left behind that we can follow. And sure enough, somehow scanning the canister reveals that they are heading to the My Alibi Club. So we go to My Alibi and head inside, where we find Bird, who is Bane's lieutenant, beating up the club owner so he can have the club for his gang. We jump down and of course fight all the enemies here, including Bird, who is pretty much just a normal enemy as he goes down pretty quickly, and defeating him completes his most wanted entry. Here I also completed Extortion File 14. Following on from that, I went on to destroy the final Black Mask drug stash, and as a result we are given the objective to confront him at the church. So I made my way there, and like the Deadshot side mission, we have another Predator encounter. After taking down all the enemies, I just had to destroy the final drug stash, but before doing that I found the final data pack for Extortion File 1 in a vent nearby. Then I destroyed the final drug stash, and afterwards Black Mask arrives with more men. And so just like the Bird side mission before, we must take down all these thugs and Black Mask himself, who is just a normal enemy as well, and after doing so, Black Mask's most wanted entry is completed. After that I went on to complete both Extortion File 13 and 18. And then as I was collecting more data packs, I was also making sure to complete any crime in progresses that popped up, as I knew I had to complete 20 of them, and after this one, the achievement finally popped. Ooh. Achievement unlocked. Crime Fighter. Stop 20 crime in progress. Sick. Continuing, I restored the final comms tower in the Diamond District, which didn't get me an achievement, but it was tied to one that I would get eventually. It of course did allow me to take down the last of Enigma's data handlers, so I now knew where every data pack was on the map. And I also destroyed all of the network relays in the Diamond District, which were the last ones on the map, meaning I could return to Enigma's HQ to disable his server. However, before doing that, I was right next to the final Penguin weapons cache, so I went and destroyed that, which then hints at Barbara becoming a future ally for Bruce and completes Penguin's most wanted entry. Following that, I headed to Enigma's HQ, where I was finally able to destroy his main server, but he doesn't seem too phased as he tells us of another dirty secret he learnt tonight that he will reveal one day soon, which I assume gets answered in the next Arkham games hopefully. For now, we haven't completed his most wanted entry yet though, as we still must collect all his data packs to open his final secret door. At this point, I had found all the data packs in the open world, which left only data packs in the interior places I had been in during the story. Thankfully, each interior area had their own map where I could see the data packs locations, and this is also where IGN's guide for finding and solving all the data packs puzzles came in clutch, as some of these were hard to figure out how to get. As a result, I completed Extortion File 19 and Extortion File 20. This completed all the files in the GCPD, so I headed to the Royal Hotel next, and because it was in the Diamond District area, I used the final fast travel point I had just unlocked, which rewarded me with my next achievement. Oh. Achievement unlocked. Use the Batwing to travel around all fast travel points. Sick. I didn't realize that. Oh, that was actually, yeah, that was the last fast travel point I unlocked, but I just had to actually travel there to obviously get the achievement. Oh, cool. Okay, well, that's another achievement down then. Hell yeah. After this, I went on a run of finding data packs and completing extortion files, which included files 15, 16, 17, 11, and 12. However, after doing that for a couple of hours, I decided I wanted a break from data packs, so I instead began completing the rest of the case files and crime scenes. During the Coventry Fire case, I ended up completing the 13th rank in the detective track. I finished the Coventry Fire and Burnley hit and run cases when I got the 14th rank in the detective track. I then completed the Amusement Mile mauling case before moving on to the final case, which was a crime alley shooting in the exact same spot where Bruce's parents were killed. After completing the analysis of that crime scene, I completed the 15th and final rank in the detective track, earning me an achievement. Ooh, we got an achievement unlocked. Master the world's greatest detective Dark Knight track. World path complete, okay. After completing 66% of the database. Interesting. Nice, okay. It's another achievement. Hell yeah, dude. After that, I travelled over to apprehend the suspect, where I would unlock another achievement. Oh, we also got another one. Achievement unlocked.
Batman? Do you copy?
Complete all case files. Yes, let's go. Gordon then contacts us after that and asks if we can help in tracking down and apprehending 20 Blackgate prisoners that escaped across the city, which is the only other most wanted entry I had to complete other than Enigma's. Before tracking any of them down though, I continued with collecting all of the data packs, and so I ended up completing extortion files 3, 8, 9, 10, 5, and 6. Eventually, I then only had one data pack left to collect on board the final offer, which completed extortion file 7 and unlocked my next achievement. This should be the final data pack. Hey, achievement unlocked. Collect all Enigma items. Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I then returned to Enigma's HQ, where I could now finally unlock the secret door with my sequencer, and at the back of the secret room, I found another secret area behind a breakable wall, which had the first Riddler trophy hidden inside, unlocking another achievement. Oh my god, it's a question mark. Pick up the Riddler trophy. Hey, achievement unlocked. First Riddler trophy, collect every collectible. That is the first Riddler trophy, because I'm pretty sure there are Riddler trophies in the other Arkham games, so yeah, that's our first Riddler trophy, eh? Damn, we did all that just for a trophy. I mean, I guess that's what trophy and achievement hunting is. It was then time to start apprehending all the Blackgate prisoners, which is as simple as the data handlers from earlier. You just gotta take down a group of enemies, including the escapee, and just rinse and repeat that 20 times. After taking down the first one, I remembered that I could now head back to the Batcave and talk to Alfred about Enigma now that I had defeated him, as this would be the final conversation that I had to hear from him. As a result, I got my next achievement.
Any sign of him, you let me know. Of course.
Hey, there we go. Achievement unlocked. Thanks, old friend. Hear everything Alfred has to say. Nice, let's go. We know Edward Nashton, aka Enigma. It was then back to taking down the rest of the prisoners, and after about half an hour or so, I took down the final one, completing our final most wanted entry, earning me an achievement. Hey. New few graphic Batman. Achievement unlocked. Clean streets. Complete all most wanted missions. Let's go, baby. After doing all that, it was now onto completing the final 3 Dark Knight tracks. Up until this point, I had completed all ranks in the Shadow Vigilante track without really trying, except for the final one. And now I'm up to complete a fight with a medium or higher threat level without being hit, with a 50 combo and at least 15 variations. This one was pretty hard because all it took was one hit in a combat encounter and it was voided. It was also hard to find large enough groups of enemies to get the medium threat level and 50 times combo, so I kinda wish I had have gone for this before I took out all the prisoners. Instead, I decided to go for the Gotham Protector track, which I had completed 7 ranks in. And for the 8th rank, I simply had to reach the top of the Soda Cola building in the Diamond District. For the 9th one, I had to perform a straight 150 meter glide without using the grapnel accelerator, and jumping off the building I was on, I completed this very easily. The 10th rank, I had to complete the intermediate AR glide drills, and these weren't particularly hard either. The 11th rank was for knocking down 3 enemies with a single shockwave attack, which I had just unlocked from the 10th rank. I simply just had to dive down towards a group of 3 enemies using RT, and then when I landed, press B to use the shockwave, and that completed it. Rank 12, I had to perform a vertical dive of over 50 meters, so for this one I simply returned to the Soda Cola building and dived off towards the bridge, and this ended up being 50 meters. Rank 13, I had to complete the advanced AR drills, which there were only 2 of, and if anything they were only hard because of the snipers that kept shooting at me. Anyway, the actual drills were both easy and I completed that rank. Rank 14, I had to glide for 25 meters whilst maintaining a height of less than 5 meters, and when I went to go for this one, I don't know if the game glitched out or something, but I got it without even being close to 5 meters off the ground, but I'll take it. The final rank was to then stop a crime in progress in each district, a total of 9. Of course, I had probably already done this throughout the game, but it doesn't start tracking until you've reached this rank because of this stupid Dark Knight track system. So I spent the next couple of hours flying around each district one by one, waiting for crime in progresses to spawn in, and I used this as a good time to keep going for the other rank in the Vigilante track. In fact, I had a close attempt just in a normal fight in the open world where I didn't take any damage, but I only had 12 variations instead of the required 15, variations meaning different types of attacks. At this point, I also remembered that there was an achievement for using every quickfire gadget at least once in a single combo, and here I was able to get it done, getting the achievement.
Bring it.
There we go, you use every achievement unlocked. One of each. Use every free flow focus gadget at least once in a combo. I've been trying to do that because I forgot that was an achievement as well. That one was not too bad. Luckily there's only 5 free flow gadgets to use, so not too shabby, eh? We had the quick throw batarang, the glue grenade, the grapple pull, the quick grenade, quick what's it called? Explosive gel, and then also the quick concussion detonator. So there's that one done. It was then back to crime in progresses, where I had another attempt at rank 15, but I got hit way too many times, but I did get a combo over 50 and 16 variations, so it was good practice as I now had to just put it all together. And sure enough, on my next attempt on a random group of enemies in the city, this happened.
Whoa!
Yes, let's go! Let's go, achievement unlocked. We completed a fight, yes. Master the Shadow Vigilante Dark Knight track. Yes, come on. What was that? That was a high threat level. We had a 55 max combo. Wait, what? We only had a variation of 9. Wait, how the hell did we get it then? I thought you had to have a variation of 15. What? with at least 15 variations. I don't know why that worked, but whatever. We'll take it. After that, I completed a crime in progress in my 7th district, meaning I now only had 2 left. However, the final 2 were Sheldon Park and the Pioneers Bridge. Sheldon Park is the smallest district, and I had waited there for a while and no crime in progress ever spawned, whereas the bridge quite literally doesn't have any more crime spawn there after you've defeated Firefly in the main story. Thankfully, after watching a video on it, I realized that Sheldon Park was possible. I just had to be patient, and sure enough, one didn't spawn too long after that. That was now 8 out of the 9 districts done, but I still had the dilemma of the bridge. Based on a comment on the video, it said you could wait for another crime in progress to spawn in Sheldon Park, leave the final enemy alive, and then bait them over to the corner of the park near the bridge. And if you defeated them right in the corner, it would count as stopping a crime in progress on the bridge. However, that sounded too complicated for me, and I wasn't patient enough for another crime to spawn in again, so I went with the second option. This was to wait for New Game Plus, as the Dark Knight tracks carry over into the next playthrough, and at the very start of the game, a crime in progress is guaranteed to spawn at the bridge, which would be an easy way to get the final rank. At first, I did stay in Sheldon Park for a bit in case the crime in progress came back quickly, but I ended up getting another achievement instead. You see, whilst I had been flying around waiting for crimes in each district, I had been doing heaps of silent takedowns on enemies, and this just happened to be my 100th. Oh damn, achievement unlocked. Let's go. Take down 100 enemies who didn't know you were there. Let's go. So like 100 silent takedowns pretty much. I've been, grinding that out whilst waiting for these crimes in progresses to hurry up and begin. And we finally did it. Let's go, baby. I then only had one more achievement I could get in this first playthrough, and that was for scanning 20 anarchy tags around the city, another collectible. I had seen these throughout my playthrough, but I had no idea what they meant or how to interact with them, so I always just ignored them. But it turns out if you hold down the detective vision button, it scans things, including these tags, and scanning them gives you intel on the building that the tag is on, providing some interesting information to read. So I just had to do that 20 times. Unfortunately, these tags don't appear on the map, but I just put up a guide online instead to find all the locations and get it done. So not very exciting or fun, but 20 tags later the achievement was mine. Hey, there we go, achievement unlocked. Voice of the People, scan 20 anarchy tags. Let's go. There are actually 24 tags in total, so I decided to go for the last 4 as well, because why not? I guess that way I had officially got them all. As I had now completed everything I could in the first playthrough, it was time to move on to either New Game Plus or Challenge Mode. But I chose the third option, as I thought now would be the perfect time to start the Cold Heart DLC. Is that Nora? Is that her name? There he is, Mr. Freeze. Cold Heart. This DLC takes place on New Year's Eve, a week after the events of the main game. We begin with GothCorp industrialist Ferris Boyle winning the Wayne Foundation Humanitarian of the Year award at the New Year's Eve ceremony hosted by Bruce Wayne at Wayne Manor. Batman! Bruce Wayne.
Company.
He's looking like a Chad.
Thank you so much. Please.
Look at that chin! After briefly talking with Bruce, Alfred takes Boyle away to see the press. However, just as the guests are about to celebrate, an explosion knocks people off their feet, also creating a large iceberg along with several people being frozen. Penguin's henchmen then enter, followed by a tall, heavily armed man in a mechanized suit with a freeze ray, who demands to see Ferris Boyle. Bruce searches for Alfred but is captured by Penguin's henchmen. We see Alfred, but he is knocked unconscious when attempting to fight back. attack. This causes Bruce to snap, and we take control of him to take them all out. In this beginning section of the DLC, there is a missable achievement for taking 0 damage as Bruce Wayne, so I had to be careful in this first fight not to get hit. After that, we check on Alfred, who is okay, and he suggests that we head to the study where we can access the Batcave and put on our Batsuit. Alfred ends up watching over some guests while we head off for the Batcave. We then enter the library where we have a Predator encounter, but it's fairly easy as the game obviously knows we don't have any access to our gadgets, so I was able to take down the 4 enemies in stealth. Heading down into the wine cellar, we have another combat encounter, which is probably the most likely place you could get hit, but I just took things slow and made sure to counter everything. We then open the secret entrance to the Batcave and head down there, which is still a little busted up from when Bane attacked in the main game, and I guess technically here you could take damage by falling off, but it'd be pretty hard to stuff this jump up. Taking the lift down into the cave, we learn that the man's name is Mr. Freeze. Of course, it was obviously him, and Alfred suggests donning the extreme environment suit. However, since it's not ready to be tested, Bruce dons the bat suit instead, and we get our missable achievement here. So we're back in our norms. Hey, there we go. Achievement unlocked. Master Wayne. Take no damage when playing as Bruce Wayne. Let's go. Batman then makes his way back to the manor where the power starts to go off as the thugs start to torch the mansion. So we make it back to the wine cellar where we take out some more enemies, and then back in the library we have a proper Predator encounter this time in order to save Alfred and the other guests from earlier. Then using his crazy strength apparently, Batman can somehow move the family crest, blocking the way to the next room. We then find out Boyle is in the next room, so we continue forward. We attempt to rescue Ferris but are frozen solid by Freeze, as Freeze has no quarrel with us. Freeze kidnaps Ferris and escapes. We break out of the ice to go after him, but find that Freeze isn't the only one with cryogenic weapons. Making it back to the ballroom, we see Freeze escaping on a helicopter, so we decide to interrogate one of Penguin's men to figure out where they are going. During this combat encounter, we get introduced to a new type of enemy that have their own cryogenic weapon. When they fire the ice beam, all you can do is dodge it, or else if you get hit by it, you get frozen, leaving you vulnerable to attacks as you try to break out. So I quickly learnt to dodge it, and I just so happened to get my next achievement here thanks to some enemies getting in the way. Oh my god, wait, what? Achievement unlocked? Someone get 3 enemies frozen in 1 attack. I didn't even mean to do that. Afterwards, we interrogate one of Penguin's henchmen, who explains that Penguin's weapons dealer may know Freeze's location. Batman then calls in the Batwing and we fly off to South Gotham. Upon landing, we find that only the Coventry and Diamond District are available in this DLC, as the rest of the city has been frozen off, denying us access. We also get reports of 3 different anarchy riots that are occurring, which is a side quest in this DLC. And they are really simple, as all you gotta do is take down all the activists to stop the riot. So I proceeded to complete those 3 riots before doing anything else. Along the way, I also found my first anarchy tag, which once again we must scan like in the base game, but this time there were thankfully only 12 of them. Afterwards, I headed to the Penguin's dealer's last known location, where we defeat some enemies and find a cop frozen solid in ice. Scanning him, Batman says we will be able to free him with the thermal gloves once the XE suit is ready to go. We also find evidence that the cryogun that the dealer was using was leaking, so we can follow a trail of its remnants. Following, we manage to track down the dealer and defeat his group of enemies. Batman interrogates the dealer, who reveals that Freeze made a deal with the Penguin to steal cryogenic weapons from GothCorp in exchange for Penguin's help in kidnapping Ferris. Batman is confused since GothCorp doesn't produce weapons, but using some entry codes the dealer gave us, we can enter GothCorp's building now. Upon entering, we see Mr. Freeze and Penguin taking Boyle into a side room, but the door is locked behind them. So we take down the guards outside and then can speak to a GothCorp employee who tells us that they are taking Boyle to the propellant research wing. Unfortunately, this guy doesn't have the clearance codes, but his boss does, who was taken into the organics lab, another part of the building. So we head to the organics lab where we have yet another Predator encounter, and upon saving the boss security guard from them, he gives us the security codes. Now with the codes, we can enter the door and pursue after Freeze and the Penguin. Making it to the propellant wing, we find Penguin has taken Boyle hostage and has betrayed Freeze, wanting becoming the weapons he was promised. Batman intervenes, giving Freeze the chance to recapture Ferris and freeze everyone, including Penguin, although not before telling Batman that his threats mean nothing to a man who has lost everything. Freeze then uses his freeze ray to create this massive ice wall, blocking us off from him and Ferris. Batman then learns from the frozen solid Penguin that Freeze wants Boyle so he can access some kind of super weapon. We also learn that the only way to break through the ice blocking the way through and containing Penguin is a cryo drill that he has his men safeguard at the My Alibi nightclub. So we make our way out of GothCorp, saving another employee in the process, and upon making it outside, we contact Alfred to learn the XE suit is ready for use and he has loaded it onto a drop pod, so Batman asks if he can drop it off at My Alibi. So we head there, and sure enough, the Batwing drops the container off and we can put the suit on, earning our next achievement. This shit about to be fire. Damn, look at us. That's sick.
The thermal gloves should help you deal with most ice you encounter, sir. And the suit will provide...
Hey, achievement unlocked.
The last of these activists as soon as you're able.
Let it snow. Receive the extreme environment suit. XE suit.
It won't slow me down a bit.
After putting on the suit, we enter the My Alibi Club, and inside we get a tutorial on the thermo-charged Batarang, and this rewards you with a guaranteed achievement. Hey, let's go. Achievement unlocked. Stalactician. Take down 2 enemies with 1 stalactite. Yes, I did look at the guide and it said that you would get it on your first attempt here, pretty much. If you're lucky, which, I mean, you should. But yeah, we'll take it, we'll take it. We then go on to take down the rest of the enemies inside, and we get our first chance to save a frozen civilian using our brand new thermal gloves. This is the first of 20 civilians we would need to save. Moving into the back room, we find our good old pal from the base game, Loose Lips, and when we interrogate him, he tells us that the cryo drill is no longer there and he sold the pieces off to different people. Due to his PTSD from getting dropped off a roof, he quickly tells us the locations of the pieces. Thankfully, the first location is right outside on a rooftop, and after taking out all the enemies guarding it, we claim the first component. The second and final component ends up being on the other side of the map, so on the way I headed to the final Anarchy Riot location, which I had unlocked after getting the XE suit. This time it isn't a riot though, and instead Anarchy has placed bombs around the district, but hacking into the main panel starts the countdown. So using our scanner, we quickly must find the secondary detonator and shut it down manually. It ends up being on a rooftop nearby with surprisingly no enemies guarding it, so I completed this last riot easily, getting our next achievement. Right, stopped. There we go. Achievement unlocked. Down with the revolution. Stop anarchy thug operations in South Gotham. Nice. Another trophy. I mean achievement. Afterwards, I saved some more civilians trapped in ice and found another anarchy tag before I moved on to the next cryo drill component location. It ended up being in the parking area of the Royal Hotel from the main game, and once again we had to defeat a group of enemies guarding the part. After that, we can find an anarchy tag inside on the wall, and I made sure to scan it as apparently the game can glitch out sometimes and the garage shutter closes after you leave, not letting you back inside to scan the tag later. So after doing that, I picked up the second component, unlocking another achievement. And this should be another achievement actually.
Alfred, I've assembled a cryo drill, but it requires
achievement unlocked. Drilling for justice. Assemble the cryonucleation tunneler, cryo drill. After gathering the pieces, we discover that the device requires a super-cooled fluid, which is only found in Victor Freeze's lab at GothCorp. Returning to GothCorp, we fight our way through more enemies to return to the Organics lab. After shutting down the security system, armed enemies enter the lab, requiring us to complete another Predator encounter. During this encounter, there are 2 ice walls where we can perform an ice wall takedown. There is a missable achievement for completing 3 ice wall takedowns, so it was important that I didn't miss the 2 ones here. After performing those and defeating the rest of the enemies, using our XE suit, we can now continue to the weapons testing lab, aka Mr. Freeze's lab. Batman finds Freeze's lab a frozen mess and a dead guard with the same blue skin coloration as Mr. Freeze. Setting up a crime scene, Batman finds that the guard died of heat stroke and determines that Freeze was trying to help his wife Nora, who was put into cryostasis as she contracted Huntington's chorea. Freeze agreed to secretly develop weapons for GothCorp in exchange for Boyle devoting his company's resources to finding a cure. But when Freeze learned that Boyle never intended to uphold his end of the deal, Freeze attempted to find the cure himself. Furious, Boyle had Nora removed from the lab to another section of the facility. He then assaulted Victor, but an accident caused by the discharge of Freeze's weapon caused an explosion of supercooled fluids which affected Freeze and a remaining guard, altering their metabolism. When the guard attempted to escape the lab and died, Freeze realized that he can only survive in a sub-zero environment and thus cobbled together a suit so he could step outside the lab. Realizing that Freeze was only intending to save his wife, Batman instructs Alfred to tip off the GCPD about Boyle's crimes. We also take the cryo coolant here so we can now power the cryo drill. Returning to the ice wall, we defeat the Penguin's men trying to free him before breaching the ice, leaving the Penguin where he is. We then make our way to the lab where Freeze is attempting to force Boyle into releasing Nora, to which the man stubbornly refuses. Batman breaks in and attempts to reason with Freeze, informing him that the GCPD now know of Boyle's crimes, but the latter refuses to care as he shoves Boyle into a cryo tube, claiming that it won't matter what Nora feels about his crimes as the accident had destroyed any chance of him feeling any emotions. This begins our boss fight against Mr. Freeze along with some of Penguin's men he summons to attack us. This fight is treated as a Predator encounter and our goal is to overload the 3 cryo tanks around the arena. Mr. Freeze is untouchable here until we do so, and if he sees us, he can blast us with his freeze ray until we break line of sight. So I snuck around until I had an opening to disable the first cryogenic reactor. I then proceeded to do the same thing with the next 2 reactors as well. After doing that, Mr. Freeze turns on the cooling system, which freezes up the entire arena, including us, and we must quickly break out before Freeze can get to us. With the arena now frozen, ice walls had appeared, so I instantly made it my mission to complete the final ice wall takedown before focusing on Freeze. And eventually I got it after baiting an enemy in front of the wall with my sonic batarang. Yes! Come on. Surely that's the... Yes, I was gonna say surely that's the trophy. Achievement unlocked. Come out of the cold. Perform 3 ice wall takedowns. Finally! Okay, now I can just take out the rest of these enemies. Shit. Now turning my focus to Freeze, I realized I could deal damage to him by dropping stalactites on his head using my thermal batarangs. I also used this to help take down the rest of Penguin's henchmen too. After taking them all down, it was Freeze left, and I found out that I could also perform ice wall takedowns on him too to deal massive damage. But then he also called in more enemies to help him, and I ended up dying to them. However, on my next attempt, I realized I could also just sneak up behind Freeze and do a takedown as well. But once you've done it once, you can't do it again as his back is protected by the ice mist coming out of it. So I focused on dealing damage to him via the stalactites, and each time more enemies came into the arena, I tried to take them out as soon as they entered. I did try to take Freeze head on at one point, but you literally can't do any damage to him, so my only option was to keep dropping the stalactites on him to deal damage. Eventually Nora's containment pod starts to fail, so Freeze makes his way to a control panel to save her, so we make our way underneath him to perform one final takedown.
Cryogenic containment failing. Prime subject.
Takedown. But just as we down Freeze, Boyle unleashes cryo gases, freezing Batman in ice. Believing the Dark Knight to be dead, Boyle believes that he can make up any story he wants to the police and begins to assault a helpless Freeze while he watches his wife die. But we don't give up that easily. Breaker, we gotta save Mr. Freeze. No, come on. Oh, he's about to die. Hey, achievement unlocked for Old Lang Syne. Stop Freeze and bring Boyle to justice.
Take a seat, humanitarian.
Cryogenic containment restored.
I'm sorry, Victor. I can't give you peace, but I can give you justice.
Boom! That was a good DLC. Batman Arkham Origins. Cold, cold heart. In the credits, Janine and Vicky Vale report on the recent events of the night, with Janine reporting corrupt Mayor Hamilton Hill's resignation due to his and Peter Grogan's ties with the Maroney crime family, meaning Gordon is the favourite to become the police commissioner now, and Vicky reporting the events in Gothcorp surrounding Boyle's, Freeze, and Cobblepot's arrests, along with mentioning the new Arkham Asylum. After the credits, we are then thrown back into the open world to finish off any more side activities. So I began with completing the rest of the victims in Ice, which I had already completed 15 out of the 20, so pulling up a guide, I was able to find the last 5 pretty quickly, resulting in my next achievement. Oh, this is about to be the achievement then. Hell yeah. Hey, breaking the ice. Free all civilians frozen in cryogenic ice. Nice.
I'll be fine.
It was then onto the Anarchy tag collectibles, which I had only completed 3 out of 12 of them, but once again using a guide I was able to find the rest of them quite easily, yet again earning another achievement. This should be the final one. A thermal glove upgrade. Achievement unlocked. Paint the town red. Find all activist tags in Cold, Cold Heart. Let's go, baby. That means we've done, yeah, look at that. Collectible progress, all 100%. And that should be all the achievements in the DLC done. Yes, that did indeed mean I had now gotten all the achievements in the Cold, Cold Heart DLC, and it was time to move back to the base game. I decided to start with the challenge mode, in particular the combat training maps, to get all 36 medals for these. You might remember from earlier that I had already done the first 3 maps, so I just had to complete the last 9 that I had unlocked since playing out the rest of the story. Once again, these are pretty easy, as a detailed explanation is shown for how to get each medal before starting each map. Essentially, these maps are just tutorials on how to do more advanced combat techniques, which some of them I already knew, but it probably would have been helpful to do these whilst I was playing through the story. Anyway, after about 30 minutes of grinding these out, I eventually got the last 3 medals out of the 36, earning the achievement. Boom! Achievement time, hopefully? Hey, there we go, achievement unlocked. Personal trainer. Obtain all the medals on combat training maps. Nice. Heck yeah. So we've done, yeah, all the combat training, so now we gotta do ranked, campaign, and custom, I think. Oh god. I then jumped into the ranked combat maps, which I had tried earlier but only got 2 medals on the first map. I tried once again to get 3, and this happened. Is there only 4 rounds? Because there's only 4 rounds. Getting 40,000 is going to be crazy. Are you kidding? How the hell am I going to get 40,000? What? Are you taking the mickey right now? I decided to move on to the second map to see how I would go, and again I only got 2 medals. So I was seriously wondering how I was going to get enough score to get 3 medals on each map, as I didn't think I was performing that bad in each map so far, yet I was way under the score needed. However, heading into the third map, I noticed that on the guide it recommended doing beatdowns, as this was a good way to build up the combo meter. So I gave this a try, and I quickly realized that having a high combo meter was the strat, as each attack has a score value which is multiplied by the combo. And for example, a beatdown finisher was worth 50 score, so times that by a high multiplier and your score starts adding up pretty quickly. So, using beatdowns, in the final round I got up to a 70 times combo and my score went up exponentially. Oh my god, we did it. Easy did it, okay. So we just gotta keep our free flow going and it shouldn't be too bad. So I tried the same strat on the 4th map, and even though I just missed out on getting the 60,000 score required for the 3 medals, I could still tell beatdowns were the way. I just had to be wary of dodging and parrying attacks, as you do not want to lose your combo or else you will just miss out like I did. I moved on to the 5th map where I tried the strat again, but this time I was better managing my dodges and parries, and as a result I got the 3 medal requirement by the 3rd round, leaving a whole extra round that I didn't even need. This meant I could just breeze through the 4th round without worrying about beatdowns. Moving on to the 6th map, this had the highest required score so far of 80,000. By using this strat, I reached a crazy high combo multiplier, which resulted in getting the score easily, so this confirmed to me that beatdowns were the way and I could get 3 medals in any combat map using this strategy. Moving on, the 7th map I hadn't unlocked yet, as I had to complete the challenge mode campaign maps to unlock it. But before swapping to the campaign maps, I decided to give the Predator ranked maps a go first. As you can imagine, these are the Predator rooms from the main story, but instead of getting the 3 medals from a high score, you get them by completing 3 different medal challenges. You can view these at any time during the encounter, and they give you a description on how to complete each challenge. So for example, this first map, I had to take down an enemy through a weak ceiling, take down an enemy with a propane tank using the remote claw, and finally perform a floor grate takedown too. And these were all fairly simple, as the enemies often move to the positions where you can perform these takedowns. After getting all 3 medals, I just had to finish off the rest of the encounter by taking down all the enemies to officially complete it. After beating that first map, I noticed that there were downloaded maps too, but we wouldn't have to worry about completing any of these, as the achievement only required the original ranked maps from the base game, none of the DLC. I also recognized that I needed to beat some campaign maps to unlock the rest of the Predator maps too, so I decided to just move straight to the campaign maps and get all those done first. Now, campaign maps have 9 medals to unlock in each, and this is because each campaign is made up of 3 separate maps with 3 medals each. For example, this first one I had to complete a combat map, then a predator map, and finally another combat map, all consecutively after each other. This mode also only gives you 3 tries to complete all maps, meaning that if you die or restart a challenge 3 times, you'll have to play from the first map again. On top of all of that, there are also modifiers that you must use across the 3 maps. Some of these are negative and some are positive. For example, this first campaign only had 3 modifiers, one of them being a time limit, another being protective aura for enemies, and finally one replenishing health for Batman. However, the catch with these is that once you've used them in one map, they can't be used again in another, but by the end of the 3rd map, you must have used them all. You can also only use 3 modifiers per map, and as campaigns got harder, there would be more modifiers to use. I didn't realize this at first, so I just used the positive modifier on the first map, which acted the same as a normal combat map, meaning the beatdown strat worked perfectly. But moving on to the Predator map, I realized I couldn't use the replenishing health again. I decided that putting a time limit onto the Predator map wasn't the best idea, so I picked the protective aura instead. The challenges for this Predator map ended up being the exact same as the ranked version, so I literally just repeated what I had done earlier, getting my next 3 medals easily. This meant for the final map, I was locked into using the time limit modifier, but this is fine to use in combat maps as you can extend your time by defeating enemies, and of course, there are a lot of enemies to take out in the combat maps. So as a result, I got the 48,000 required score, getting the 3 medals, bringing the total to all 9 medals in our first campaign map. From this, I unlocked 2 new extreme versions of the combat maps back in the ranked mode, but at this point I realized to unlock the rest of the maps I still had to complete more campaign maps, so I made the executive decision to just complete all the campaign maps first. So I moved on to the next campaign map, Legacy, and this was also just as easy as the first campaign, getting all 9 medals on my first attempt. At this point, I also started using a guide I found on the website True Achievements, which recommended what modifiers to use on each map in each campaign, as some modifiers can void certain challenges or make them a lot harder than they need to be. Continuing with the next campaign though, this one was a little bit harder, in particular the Predator map, as I was unsure on how to do some of the takedowns required, and sometimes it's more efficient to complete certain takedowns before other ones, as you might not get the chance to do them again once the enemies start moving around. This is where PowerPic's video guides came in clutch for each Predator room. Their videos show you the best route on how to complete all the challenges, usually within 2 to 3 minutes, making these encounters a cakewalk. For example, on this map, Quiet Waters, I got all 3 challenges done in under a minute thanks to the PowerPic's video. I would continue to use these video guides for the rest of the challenge mode, as it made things so much easier. And so this campaign, Destroyer, was also fairly easy, and on the last map I even only got 2 medals done, but there was a modifier to get 1 medal for free, so I got all 3 medals on the map anyway, earning me another 9 medals in total. The next campaign, Gothic, was also easy. The campaign after, Cataclysm, was also the same. However, the next campaign, Shadow of the Bat, was where I had my first hiccup. This campaign included the Predator map Hard Time Extreme, and one of the challenges on this map is to take down an enemy using the Sonic Shock Batarang, requiring the Shock Batarang upgrade. But I did not have this upgrade yet, as you unlock it at rank 10 of the worst nightmare track, and I was only up to rank 6. So to get all medals on the campaign challenge mode, I would have to get this upgrade first. So this is where I pivoted once again and began my New Game Plus playthrough, as that way I could get to rank 10 of the nightmare track. Starting New Game Plus also gave me the opportunity to complete our other last Dark Knight track, which was the Gotham Protector one. Of course, after disabling our first jamming tower in the open world, we are given the opportunity to take on a crime in progress on the Pioneers Bridge, which was indeed the final district I needed to complete one in, earning our next achievement.
Why you gotta be like this?
Bam! There we go, achievement unlocked. Gotham Protector, master the Gotham Protector Dark Knight track, so he stopped a crime in progress in every district. I then continued through the game as normal until I unlocked the Deadshot side mission, as this included one of the only rooms in the game where it was possible to complete rank 6 of the Nightmare track. This is due to the 4 exotic takedowns I had to do in one encounter, including a vent, explosive gel, corner, and hanging ledge takedown. The Gotham Merchants Bank and the Nexus room in Blackgate are the only 2 rooms in the game that include all the requirements for this challenge, which is why I had to wait for a New Game Plus playthrough anyway. However, I was following a video guide from Batman Arkham videos which showed an example of how to do it during the Deadshot mission, but what I didn't realize was that this is also where you have a Predator encounter after meeting the Joker, and I had stupidly blown up all the explosive gel walls, meaning I couldn't complete that takedown as none of them respawn back in. Wait, why are the walls? Oh my god, are you kidding? Is it because I blew up the walls in the freaking Joker one? They didn't respawn back in? Wait, what? Are you kidding me? Oh my god, so how am I meant to do this now then? This is like the only place you can do. Oh my god. I'm actually done, bro. I'm done. Yeah, no, what? That's wild. That's wild. Why don't they spawn back in? Wait, surely like if I quit game and then go back in. Oh my god, bro. Are you kidding me? Why? What? Oh my god. Because they won't spawn back in, will they? Bruh, that's diabolical. That is diabolical. I shouldn't have done. Oh my god, I can't believe that's how this happens, bruh. I really hope that the other Arkham games don't have this stupid Dark Knight system, or if they do, it's better than this one, because this one sucks. Anyway, in hindsight, I should have just tried to complete this challenge during that first Joker encounter, but now I had wasted 2 out of the 3 opportunities to get this challenge done during this playthrough. My only option now was to play through the rest of the game until I made it to the Nexus room at the very end, so it wasn't the end of the world, but I wasted so many opportunities between them to work towards future future ranks. So this meant from rank 7 onwards I would have to complete most of them in the third playthrough of the I Am the Night mode. Anyway, for now I finally made it to the Nexus room and got all the takedowns done following a different video guide that showed the best way to do them all in the Nexus room, as I wasn't taking any more chances.
Guys are gonna end up. I mean,
Oh, here we go, finally.
you think GCPD can hold them all? Will you please hurry up in there?
Yes, there we go.
To go and people to kill.
Come on. Come on, yes, come on, come on. Yes, surely that's it, right? Yes, finally. Finally, rank 6 is done. Oh my god. After completing rank 6 in the final Predator encounter, we were of course at the end of the game, meaning once I defeated Joker again, the achievement for completing New Game Plus would pop. Hey, let's go, achievement unlocked. Give them something to believe. Complete the New Game Plus. Let's go. Hell yeah, dude. It was of course then straight onto the I Am the Night mode, which I unlocked after completing New Game Plus. They are essentially the same thing, but this time it is like a hardcore mode as you get sent back to the start of the game if you die. However, before moving on, I could complete rank 7 in the New Game Plus open world. It didn't have to be a Predator room in the story according to the guide. For rank 7, all I had to do was complete an encounter without using any takedowns. So I headed straight for the GCPD roof as I knew this was an encounter in the open world, and I just made sure to defeat all the enemies using normal combat moves instead of any stealth takedowns.
Nice on.
Boom. Okay, surely that counts, right? Wait, are we not meant to get spotted or something? Do we have to get it without being seen? Without doing it? I did it without doing any takedowns though, what? Thinking I hadn't done something right, I decided to try again at the final offer, another place I knew that had a Predator encounter.
Damn!
Come on, surely this is it. Why is it not working? I don't understand why it's not working. Surely it's not because that guy's glitched up there. I then tried a method I saw on a forum post which said by completing the Coventry Fire case file, it can sometimes accidentally cause the rank to be completed even though it isn't a Predator encounter. Safe to say that did not work either. I then saw another method on a forum post which said that there was a lone sniper on the final offer and taking him down can cause the rank to complete. However, you can't just beat him up until he's defeated, you first must disarm him using your back claw, wait 1 to 2 seconds and then defeat him. I had no idea if this was going to work as I had previously defeated this enemy and nothing had happened, but I'd never tried the disarm method. One, two. Oh my god, why did that work? Why did that work? Why the hell did that work? What the f... Oh my god, this game is so broken. Why did that work? I have no idea why that works, but thank god for people online in forums talking about that, because what the frick? That was so stupid. For rank 8, I had to complete a Predator encounter without using detective vision or being seen, and according to the guide, it could only be completed during a story encounter, so it was now time to officially start the I Am the Night mode. However, very early on I made a stupid mistake in the GCR tower, as instead of just doing a takedown through the wall on this enemy who had a hostage, I had a brain fade and tried to use my explosive gel, which counted as the hostage being killed, failing the mission. It then took me straight back to the menu, signaling I had to restart the I Am the Night mode. However, thankfully when I hit continue on the I Am the Night mode, it took me back to the start of the area rather than the beginning of the game. This is because I had only failed the mission rather than outright die, so thankfully I didn't have to restart from the beginning yet. Moving on, I eventually made it to the final offer, which had the first Predator room of the game. Here I could finally complete rank 8. Or we can do inverted takedown. Surely this is it, right? Surely they didn't see me. Wait, no, surely it's gonna... Oh, there we go. I was gonna say, completed Predator encounter without using detective vision and without being seen. Let's freaking go, finally. After that though, my dumb arsery continued as I came up with the brilliant idea that because the game had saved my completion of rank 8, I could restart checkpoint to farm rank 9 and future ranks on this easy Predator encounter. Of course, the worst possible outcome occurred. Oh fuck, wait, oh my god, wait, what? Wait, what, it didn't save? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Why did I... Oh, I shouldn't have restarted, bro. What the fuck? Why does it reset it, though? Oh, that's fucked. That's so fucking bullshit. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Oh my god, why? I'm gonna have to just kill me, bro. Just fucking kill me. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? I thought maybe I could redo it and get the other challenge done, but it didn't save that one, and then the whole room was gone too. Like, what? So now, game over, so yeah, where does it put me though? I have to restart. Oh my... I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. I'm just the biggest idiot ever. So, after letting myself die, I had to restart I Am the Night all the way back at the beginning and play through the story once again until I made it back to the same spot, where I completed rank 8 for the second time. And safe to say, this time I made sure to not restart the checkpoint. However, not long after that, I made it to the GCPD, where I had another brain fart and experienced my first proper death during the I Am the Night mode.
I'm staking out this door. There's no tank.
Oh shit, wait, now I gotta fucking restart the game. Oh my god.
Looks like justice is finally
what am I
been
doing?
served, fellas.
What am I doing?
Now, to see
what am I
what's under that
doing? I have to
mask.
redo all that crap. No, what am I doing? I'm so stupid. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. Far out, this game is causing me so much pain. So I then had to play all the way through the start of the game again until I got back to the same Predator room on the final offer. And here I could complete rank 9, which required 4 loud takedowns in one encounter, including a great, inverted, knockout smash, and ledge takedown. There we go, perform 4 loud takedowns in one Predator encounter. Darn, that one was easy, okay. I then experienced a really stupid glitch in the Deathstroke fight afterwards. Bro, what? I defeated him. Oh my god, don't tell me it's glitched out. Bro, it's glitched. Oh my god, bro. This freaking game, cuz. This freaking game.
Tell me where
Oh my god, so I have to restart the whole fight. Bruh! This game sucks!
Oh.
Anyway, after restarting that fight and beating him, I continued until I made it inside the GCPD building, this time where I could take on rank 10. For this one, I had to complete a high threat level Predator encounter without being seen, and pretty much every encounter on I Am the Night is a high threat level due to the harder enemies that spawn in this mode, so I just had to complete this room without being seen. Come on. This gotta be it, right? No one saw me, surely. Yes, complete a Predator encounter with a high threat level, or high without being seen. Let's freaking go! Take an enemy with the Sonic Shock Batarang next. Sonic Shock Batarang. Is that the final upgrade? Oh, okay, so this stuff... Keep going through the story. Okay, then we'll get the upgrade achievement done. Sick, okay. Now that I had the Sonic Shock Batarang upgrade, I continued through the GCPD until I had an opportunity to use it, which is what I needed to do to complete rank 11. Did that count as taking someone down with the sonic? It did, taking an enemy with the sonic shock batarang. Okay, let's go. Now, technically, the Sonic Shock Batarang was the final upgrade I needed to get the achievement for unlocking all upgrades, but the reason it didn't pop straight away is because I hadn't unlocked all the gadgets in this I Am the Night playthrough yet. But after making my way through the sewers under the GCPD, I decided to get off and have a break, and upon exiting to the home screen, this happened. Oh, wait, what? Achievement unlocked? I've got this. Acquire all upgrades. I guess because in our other save throughs now, we've technically got every upgrade. It's just this one we didn't have the electric gloves yet, so that's why it wasn't popping. But now that I've quit back to the main menu, it's popped. Oh, well there you go. Finally, another friggin' achievement. Let's go. The next day, I got back on and continued to the Gotham Merchants Bank encounter, where I could complete rank 12, which was for completing 5 different types of takedowns in a high threat level encounter. Once again, another easy one. Same thing again. Okay, there we go. I want to take down. Surely that's it. Surely. Yes, there we go. High threat level or above by performing at least 5 different takedowns. Yes, there we go. Moving on to rank 13, I could thankfully complete this one in the open world, as all we have to do is take down 3 enemies within the duration of 1 smoke pellet. Come on, knockout smash, come on.
I can't see anything of this stuff.
Eliminate 3 enemies, we eliminated 4. Boom! That was easy, that one. Eliminated like all of them. However, my good luck would not continue as I had another brain fade moment. Oh my god, no way. Oh my god. And now I have to restart from the beginning. What am I doing, Carla? Why is it? Okay, this I Am the Night mode is tougher than I thought it would be, to be honest. Now I have to restart, brother, beginning again. Are you freaking kidding me, Carla? However, I decided that instead of restarting I Am the Night, because I now had the Sonic Shock Batarang, I could now complete the rest of Challenge Mode, so I went back to that instead.
Stick around for the final show.
There we go, we can finally friggin' do it. And so now with that done, I could complete the Shadow of the Bat campaign, which ended up also being easy. The next campaign was also mostly easy, but I did have a small little scare at the end.
Watch out! Get back here!
Are you... Oh my god, you're kidding. I died on the last enemy like that?
Unsatisfying.
Oh my god. How did Bruce see me? What? Oh, you're kidding. Oh, you're kidding me. Wow, as if I died right at the end there. Oh my god, I got 1 retry left. Uh-oh. But I did manage to complete it on my next attempt, getting all 9 medals in the Dark Knight Dark City campaign. During the next campaign, I had a really close call in the first map because of the time limit modifier, but I managed to clutch up.
Man, I can't see.
There we go, oh my god. That was close. That was close. On the final map of this campaign, I did also have another little scare as I used 2 out of my 3 retries, but I clutched up once again on the final attempt. Boom, easy dubs. Oh, and that was War on Crime. The next campaign was extremely easy as all 3 maps were combat maps, which I had mastered by now using the beatdown strat, and so I got all 9 medals on Cowardly and Superstitious. On the next campaign, I noticed that the modifiers guide I was using was wrong, as it said to use the one-hand tied modifier, which stops you from doing silent takedowns, which in turn prevented knockout smashes, which I needed for this map. I can't do it because of the stupid one-hand tied thing. Why would it tell me to do that? No, I'm not doing one-hand tied. Other than that mishap though, this campaign was pretty easy despite being all Predator maps, which I found harder than combat maps. But I think this was because from all of the previous campaigns, I had already completed these maps, so I knew exactly how to do all the challenges already, and with that, the Darkest Night campaign was done. During the second last campaign, which again was all combat maps, I actually failed to get all 3 medals on the second map, which was the first time I struggled with a combat map in a while. But the funny thing is though, I struggled to get the required score from all 4 rounds on that first attempt, but upon retrying, I got all 3 medals within the first 3 rounds, leaving a round to be spared, showing how easy it can be to get the score if you lock in and don't make any mistakes. And so, other than that retry, the standing count campaign was also easy. That left just one more campaign to go, which again was all Predator maps, and of course they left the hardest campaign for last. This one had 5 negative modifiers to use across all 3 maps, so thankfully the guide came in clutch here, but I still managed to die a few times.
Oh no, he's back! There's a man!
That was stupid. That was very stupid. Holy crap, okay, this is kinda hard. Luckily, this was all on the first map, which you technically have unlimited retries on, and so I eventually got there in the end. On the second map, I got down to only 1 retry left, and I was really low health, but this happened.
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! He's more than a man.
There we go, clutch up. Clutch up, clutch up, clutch up. On the third and final map, I of course still only had 1 retry left. Boom. Easy. 1 retry to go. This should be a trophy actually, I believe. Because that's all campaign mastered. Yes! Achievement unlocked. Yes. Olympian. Obtain all medals on the original campaign maps in challenge mode as Batman. Let's go. Come on. Let's freaking go. All these campaign maps done. 9 out of 9 for all of them. Honestly, this last one was probably the hardest, but I still got it done on my first couple of attempts, really. With all the campaigns done, it was then back to the ranked combat maps, which at this point were getting kind of repetitive and boring because of how easy they were to complete, and I had already done all these maps at least twice over in the campaigns. That being said, I did fail one of the maps in the worst way possible. Oh my god, are you kidding? I was 500 off, bruh. The rest of the maps were all easy though, and I didn't have any more failures, and so I soon had all 36 medals on the ranked combat maps. It was then time to move on and get all 36 medals on the ranked predator maps. And even though the challenges for these are more in depth than the scoring system in the combat maps, I still got all these predator maps done first try, as I knew the exact path to take for each map because I had done them so many times during the campaign maps. And so before long the achievement was mine. That should be all of them done, I believe. Hey, there we go. Achievement unlocked. Medalist. Obtain all medals on the original ranked maps in challenge mode as Batman. Let's go, baby. Come on. It's been a grind, but we got there. Honestly, the Predator maps, using like a guide to help, they're pretty easy to be honest. Like, combat maps you can just do. Predator maps with a guide, they're definitely easy. I mean, you can still figure them out for yourselves, probably. And then, download maps, don't need to do those, thankfully. So yeah, that's all the ranked maps done. And obviously campaign done, so now we have to do it all again on custom, which hopefully should be easier though. Following that, I just had to repeat that whole same process, this time in the custom mode. This is the exact same as ranked, but this time we can choose whatever modifiers we want to help or hinder us complete each combat and predator map. Of course, to get this done as quickly as possible, I chose the 3 positive modifiers and 0 negative ones, as I didn't want to make it any harder than it had to be. The positive ones for the combat maps included infinite shock gloves, replenishing health, and single hit batarangs. The infinite shock gloves are amazing as they give you a 2x multiplier for every hit, making getting the score even easier. Replenishing health is sort of irrelevant as I never really took that much damage during the combat maps, but it was a nice failsafe to have just in case. But the one-hit batarangs were really great time savers because as soon as I hit the required score for the 3 medals, I could finish off all the rest of the enemies really quickly by spamming the quickfire batarangs. And so in no time at all, I had gotten all 36 medals on the custom combat maps. It was then onto the custom predator maps, where this time instead of infinite shock gloves, we can move faster when crouched, but the other 2 modifiers stayed the same. Once again, the replenishing health was a nice safeguard to have, and the one-hit batarangs were great to use after the 3 challenges were already complete to finish the map off quickly. The moving faster while crouch modifier wasn't super useful, but it was better to use it than not. And so once again, in no time at all, I got all 36 medals in the custom predator maps, resulting in the achievement popping. Yes, there we go. Achievement unlocked. Perfectionist. Obtain all the medals on custom maps in challenge mode. Nice. Let's go. But yeah, that's all the predator maps done. Obviously I did all the combat ones, and then now, yeah, all the predator ones. Once again, don't have to do the downloaded for the main game, and we're done with challenge mode. Don't have to do any of the DLC stuff, I don't believe. With challenge mode now officially complete, it was back to I Am the Knight to finish off the rest of the worst nightmare track and complete the hardcore playthrough. However, things did not go to plan straight away.
This floor's covered. There he is.
Bruh, why? Oh my god. This game sucks, bruh. This game sucks, man. How the... Bruh, I died to that bullcrap. I was literally about to do a silent takedown and bro's like, turn around, like, there he is, and then just shotguns me. Like, bro, what? Oh my god, I have to restart again. This also happened on the next attempt, too.
Surrounding areas.
Bro, what the hell? My game just crashed, cuh. My game just crashed, just randomly, what the hell? Nothing was going my way. Eventually, I did make it back to the GCPD in the main story, and here was a perfect opportunity to get rank 14 done, which was for taking out 3 enemies with 1 propane tank explosion.
Who told you that, huh? Your buddy Anarchy?
He will wipe this city clean of your filth.
Yeah?
It's the Bat. Call in those halls.
There we go. That should be 3, right? Did it work? Oh, it did, okay. Eliminate 3 enemies using propane tank. Sick. It just hasn't popped up yet.
Priority
There we go. Eliminate 3 enemies using a propane tank. Sick. Let's go. Rank 14 done. For rank 15, I had to pull 2 enemies over a railing at the same time using advanced gadget techniques. The perfect opportunity for this came when I made it to the Gotham Merchants Bank and the Predator encounter here. Okay, so like these two, hopefully. Hey, there we go, let's go! Dark Knight Batman. Pull 2 enemies over a railing at the same time using advanced gadget techniques. We got the Worst Nightmare, Master Wet Nightmare, Dark Track. And we also got the next achievement, which is for completing all of the Dark Knight challenges. Legend of the Dark Knight, complete all Dark Knight challenges. Let's freaking go. 2 achievements in 1. Heck yeah. So we got that. Yeah, all of these done now. Worst Nightmare done. Let's go. That actually worked quite easy. Let's go. This meant I had 1 more achievement to go, which was for simply completing the rest of I Am the Knight. However, things did not go to plan as I would have liked.
Over here, fella. Yeah! Yo, heads up! Looks like I'll be home in time.
Oh my god, are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Are you...
I'm sorry. Did I kill your friend?
Are you kidding me?
My bad.
Are you freaking kidding me right now? Are you for real? I just died to that. I had like I lost all my bullet health, but I had like full health and I just got lasered. Oh my god, now I have to restart again, bro. Oh my god, I Am the Knight sucks, bro. How did they saw me once and then I was like literally trying to grapple away and how did they not lose me? They just kept shooting and killing me. Oh my god, bro. On the bright side, the next run I was able to check out the suit we unlocked from completing all the Dark Knight tracks, which I believe was this Injustice suit from the Injustice games, as I previously could not use it, and honestly it's a pretty neat suit. Anyway, continuing, I made it the furthest I ever had in this mode, which was to the Copperhead fight. I found this fight quite difficult because I'm not sure if I mentioned earlier, but on I Am the Knight mode, the blue, yellow and red icons are taken away from above enemies' heads when they are about to attack, so it's a lot harder to read when enemies will attack you and what type of attack it is. Couple this with the fact that Copperhead sometimes does blue, yellow and group attacks, I missed a lot of counters during this fight, taking quite a bit of damage. So I made the decision that if I got really low health, I would just restart the fight instead of risking trying to survive. Thankfully, I did that because on my next attempt, I was able to beat her without stressing about my health as much. Later, I had another really close call during a Predator encounter in the Royal Hotel, where I just restarted checkpoint in time before dying. However, this is where my luck would run out.
Painful. Don't this guy quit? Follow me, let's get him!
No, I tried to pause. I tried to freaking pause, bro. Oh my god, I got all the way up to Firefly and I died. Oh my god, you're kidding me. I tried to pause. Oh my god, I can't with this game. Oh, it's so annoying. So another couple of hours later, I made it back to the GCPD where I had another incident.
Might get the trick.
Bro, wait, what? I can't... What? The game's glitched. I can't pause. What's going on? Oh my god, I had to like back out of the game. Oh my god, that was crazy. Wait, what? I still can't... My controller disconnected, that's what... Bro, okay, my controller disconnected, that's what happened. Thankfully, other than that controller disconnect, this playthrough went quite smoothly and I was locked in. And so after a few more hours, I made it the furthest I had, all the way to Blackgate at the end of the game, and the finish line was in sight. Be down, come on. Let's get this achievement done and over with, and this game done as well. Boom! Oh, we're still going. Damn. Still going. Bam, let's go! Achievement unlocked. I am the knight. Finish, I am the knight mode. Let's go. Come on. Honestly, not too hard, but it did take me quite a few attempts, so still a little bit annoying, but oh my god, finally it's done. And technically we are also done with this game as well. Alright, so as you can see from my Steam page here, we have somewhat, technically only got 81% of the achievements for this game, but I'm counting that as 100% because if you look at these final achievements that we haven't unlocked, multiplayer, 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 multiplayer. So there's unfortunately 11 achievements that are all multiplayer, so we can only get 82% of the game done, 49 out of the 60 achievements earned, which sucks because yeah, the servers no longer are up. I'll show you even play Batman Arkham Origins online. And as you can see, the connection to Batman Arkham Origins online services could not be established and the game cannot be started. Please try again later. Enter to continue, and it just comes up with the same thing every time. Batman Arkham Origins online. So yeah, unfortunately we just can't get those achievements, which does suck, but I'm also kind of glad because some of these achievements seem quite grindy. As an elite, earn 4,000 XP in a single multiplayer match. Like, that sounds kind of hard. Defeat each of the enemy players at least once in a multiplayer match. Doesn't sound too bad. Kill a hero to bring back your entire gang when at 0 reinforcements on a full multiplayer server. That sounds difficult. Fully upgrade a weapon in multiplayer, probably just a grind. Reach max level with the Joker faction, that's a grind. With the Bane faction, that's a grind. Max overall level, that's a grind. Win a round of each map with each faction, that's a grind. As a hero, defeat 4 elites within 40 seconds without using melee. Like, that sounds crazy as well. That's hard. Earn a level of prestige. That's the same with overall max overall level, I'm assuming, so that's a grind. And then take down 6 different elites in a match using 6 different methods as Batman or Robin multiplayer. Like, that sounds hard as well. So I'm kind of glad don't have to do them, but it would be nice to see that 100%, but I'll take 49 out of the 60 achievements, and that means we can move on to Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate, which apparently I have the deluxe edition for. Yeah, and then once we've done this game, we can finally move back to PlayStation and start playing Arkham Asylum, which I am very much looking forward to. But anyway, yeah, that is Arkham Origins done. 49 out of the 60 achievements, but I'm taking that as 100% because obviously, yeah, no longer attainable. I have heard that you can do a workaround and like do your own private servers or something like that, but honestly, I can't be bothered doing that. And if the official servers aren't up, I'm not doing it. So I feel like this game is I mainly wanted to play it for the story anyway, so I'm not too bummed that I don't get to play the multiplayer. I will also note here that it took me 80.2 hours to complete this game. Anyway, with all that being said, overall I really enjoyed this game, and I honestly can't believe it's taken me this long to play an Arkham game, because this was honestly absolute peak, and I'm so excited to play the Arkham Trilogy games, because I honestly think they're probably going to be better than this one. So stay tuned for that, but for now, I would just like to say thank you so much for watching the video, especially if you have made it this far. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and all that good stuff. And don't forget to hit that notification bell too, so you're notified when my new videos come out, especially if you want to see the rest of this Arkham series. And if you are still here, shout out to you, comment down below, I am the Knight, so I know who the real ones are. As always, I would also like to thank all of my channel members. I really appreciate that extra level of support, and it's awesome to see the number of you growing. Of course, an extra special shout out to my ultra rare members, including Shajita456, Syrax1207, Consistent C5L, I see a bit of a name change there, and also John Ewan 9136. Thank you all so much for your continued support. Anyway, with all that done, thank you all so much again for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. See you later.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's